States of America, on behalf of the Swiss government, I would like to welcome you to Geneva, the city of peace.
The Swiss president welcoming Presidents Putin and Biden to Geneva, the two leaders now meeting behind closed doors for their widely anticipated summit. Going into the meeting, they took a few questions during a brief photo op.
And I hope that our meeting will be productive.
Well, thank you. As I said outside, I think it's always better to meet face-to-face.
And they are meeting face-to-face right now. The summit's agenda includes Ukraine and human rights, arms control, and cyber attacks. A lot of ground to cover, and the one thing the two leaders do seem to agree on, relations between Washington and Moscow have hit a post-Cold War low. In the face of worsening coronavirus figures in Russia, authorities in Moscow and surrounding regions announcing compulsory vaccinations for certain categories of workers. Israeli military jets went into action early today, carrying out a series of airstrikes on Hamas targets in Gaza.
The Israeli military says the nighttime strikes targeted facilities used by Hamas for meetings to plan attacks and blamed the group for any act of violence emanating from Gaza. Palestinians in Gaza responded by launching incendiary balloons that caused at least 10 fires in southern Israel. There have been no immediate reports of casualties in the areas concerned. On Tuesday, Israeli ultranationalists, some chanting death to Arabs, paraded in East Jerusalem in a show of force that threatens to spark renewed violence. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
On Wall Street, Dow futures down 34 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Excuse me, why don't you have life insurance yet?
I've got diabetes, and I know the price will be through the roof for the pre-existing condition.
Well, actually, SelectQuote makes it easy to get very affordable life insurance, even if you have a health issue.
I'm listening.
You'll get quotes from some of the country's most trusted carriers. Even with your diabetes, you can get around $250,000 in insurance for as little as $1 a day.
That would be amazing. What's it called again?
SelectQuote. Just call or go to selectquote.com to get your free quote. Get the coverage you need at a price you can afford. Call 1-800-694-1010 or go to selectquote.com today. That's 1-800-694-1010 or selectquote.com. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Get full details on example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Monthly premiums vary based on health company and other factors. Not available in all states.
And going forward, certain categories of workers in Moscow and areas surrounding the Russian capital will have to be vaccinated against COVID-19.
Despite all the fanfare with the rollout of Russia's own Sputnik vaccine, fewer than 2 million Muscovites have taken the jab. That's a mere 14% of the population. So the capital is to be one of the first places on earth to make vaccination compulsory. 60% of those working in retail, catering, education, utilities and energy sectors must get their first jab in the next 4 weeks. The deadline for the second one is mid-August. The list also includes beauty salons, theatres, cinemas, museums and such like.
That's BBC's Sasha Schlichter. The Chinese government planning to release copper, aluminum and zinc from stockpiles in a bid to restrain surging prices that officials fear could disrupt a post-pandemic business revival in China. News and analysis, townhall.com. Cybersecurity researchers discover a cell phone flaw that may have allowed hackers to eavesdrop on some data traffic for more than 2 decades.
Researchers from Germany, France, and Norway say the flaw affects the GPRS mobile data standard. While most phones now use 4G or even 5G standards, GPRS remains a fallback for data connections in some countries. The researchers say the vulnerability of the GEA1 algorithm is unlikely to have been an accident. Instead, they think it was probably created intentionally to provide law enforcement agencies with a back door. Manufacturers and standards organizations have been notified to fix the flaw. Jeremy House reporting.
California Governor Newsom doling out $1.5 million each to 10 vaccinated winners at Universal Studios, part of the fanfare surrounding the end of the state's coronavirus restrictions. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, Whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number, and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to another morning without Mike Winters. That's right, I ain't he. That wouldn't be me. Nope. Mike enjoying day number 3 of his westward adventure as he heads on down to the Grand Canyon. Actually, he posted some pictures. So he does have internet. We do have that confirmed. He does have access to the internet, at least at some points in time. So who knows? Maybe he's tuning in. Hi, Mike. Hi, Kim. And, just monitoring me as they constantly know how to do. But no, he's enjoying an amazing view of the Grand Canyon. He was showing off what he's got to look at for the next few days. And hashtag jealous, hashtag FOMO. Definitely a beautiful view, and I'm sure he's got a few days of absolute adventure coming up. And this is like right up Mike's right up Mike's alley, right in his wheelhouse. It's very much a Mike adventure. I think sometimes Kim has to kind of take a back seat. I feel like sometimes they trade vacations. Like he gave her the cruise, and I feel like she gave him the Grand Canyon. It kind of feels like a trade, which admittedly, that's an ideal relationship. That's kind of what you strive for. Hashtag relationship goals, so to speak. Did I hashtag twice already? The music's not even over. Whew! We have got plenty to get to in today's show. Coming up here in just a few minutes, about 7:15 or so, John from Oasis Computer is going to be joining us. We'll be chit-chatting all about computers and all things tech. We'll be talking tech real good. But I have some questions. I've kind of dabbled into the into the hobbyist field of computer construction, computer building. So I've got questions. We'll see if John has some answers. We'll dive into that coming up here in just a few minutes, around 7:15 or so. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, around 8:15 or so, we'll be sitting down chatting with County Commissioners Jeff Bilberry and Will Cavan. They got all sorts of stuff going on. And here's how I'm going to approach this today. I'm dumb. Here, this is kind of cards out on the table. I'm kind of dumb. I sort of stumbled head first into a career in radio because I talk good, but I'm not good at the whole thinking thing. So I'm going to approach today from the perspective of just the rube. I want to be educated today. I'm going to let Jeff and Will give me a little education on what it is they're up to as of late. And coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, around 9:15 or so, we'll be sitting down chatting with Miss Andrea from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. Of course, the busy season, tourist season is here. Summertime, we're finally getting out of our homes and out into the world. So we've actually seen an uptick in tourism. So we'll talk about the upcoming festival season, all the fun stuff coming up, including the the next edition of Roswell Now magazine. We'll dive into that coming up here in just a bit on this here Wednesday morning. Plus, of course, all your regular features, which include your town hall news, SRN business report. Of course, we'll have Kim Commando coming up here in just a bit. We'll have Eric Butler with your Chaves County sports report in just a bit as well, and whatever else we can get up to on this Wednesday morning. 9 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's dive into a quick check of the weather. Oh, you're going to make a liar out of me, aren't you? Ooh, computer. Well, you got to play with me. Let's see. We can do this again. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot again today. High pressure is still over the southwestern states, and that'll take us up to about 100 for our afternoon high today, and sunny. Clear tonight, our low dropping to about 70, and then we'll stay around 100 with sunshine tomorrow, maybe a little bit breezy in the afternoon. Back up to 100 on Friday and sunny. It looks like we'll be climbing into the low 100s for the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. You feel like this part of the year is like the easy part of the year for him? Just go on and just say sunny and hot every single day, because that's what it's going to be. Currently 71 degrees around Roswell Way, 49% humidity, wind speed out of the south at about 7 miles an hour, with the barometer at about 30.17 inches and the dew point at about 51 degrees. I don't know what the soil temperature is. I know they do that in Artesia. I'm sure it's somewhere around whatever it was yesterday. If you know soil temperature, just get an almanac if that's info that you need to know. Looking for sunny skies and hot today. Shocker, right? High of 100 degrees. If you're going to be out and about in the sun, soaking up that them summer rays, then please sunscreen up. Drink plenty of water. Stay hydrated. Find shade whenever possible. My kids' mom took the kids over to the aquatic center yesterday. They were out there for an hour and a half, and they were all coated. I mean, like coated in SPF 100 sunscreen, and 2 of the 3 of them still walked away with a burn. Yeah, my daughter walked away with just a gnarly, perfect tan. Of course she did. But my son and the kid's mom definitely got lobsterfied. So just be careful out there. The sun is doing what the sun does, is burning, and you need to counteract those UV rays. Anyways, high of 100 today. Winds out of the southeast at about 5 to 15 miles an hour. For tonight, mostly clear, dropping down to about 71 degrees. Winds out of the south between 5 and 15. For your Thursday, sunny skies, hot. It's going to be hot. High of around 99. Of course, that's what they said about Tuesday, and it ended up being well over triple digits for yesterday. So we'll see what happens. Winds out of the south, 5 to 15 miles an hour. Mostly clear for your Thursday night with a low of around 68 degrees. And winds out of the south at around 5 to 15 miles an hour. Sunny skies, hot. It's going to be hot for your Friday and for pretty much every day. 102 for the high on Friday, 103 for Saturday, and sticking with what they said yesterday, sticking by their guns, 107 for the high on Sunday. It's gonna be hot. Just pretty much boilerplate or standard issue what happens in Roswell. It's going to be hot. Hey, wanted to remind you real quickly that coming up tomorrow, yesterday we sat down and chatted with the ladies of the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, and they have got a round table forum coming up tomorrow, actually, tomorrow evening. It's all about cannabis in the community. Now that recreational legalization has happened, things are about to change. The train is in motion. And we want to make sure that the folks around, Chaves County in our area go in with some knowledge, that we're going into this brave new world armed with a little bit of knowledge, because I feel like that's the best tool that you have is that knowledge. So join them tomorrow evening from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. They're going to be at the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico's Archive Building there at 200 North Lee Avenue. And they're going to have some great guest speakers, lots of knowledge from all sorts of different facets of the community. We're going to have Senator Cliff Pirtle is going to be there kind of covering the legislative side of things. Sheriff Harrington will be there covering the legal side of things. He'll be answering a lot of the questions that I'm sure parents are going to have, that regular folks are going to have as far as like, what constitutes legalization, where can they, when can they, and what is going to fall under legal and illegal cans and can'ts in cannabis, so to speak. Mayor Dennis Kentile will be here, or be there talking about all sorts of great information as well, as far as like the community goes and how that's going to work. Probably a lot of it from the from the perspective of the growth side of things, both the business growth and the actual growth of the plants themselves. And then Pecos Valley Production, of course, the Great House family, they've been at the forefront of production here in Chaves County, here in southeastern New Mexico, really since the beginning, since the inception of medical cannabis. So they'll have a lot of great information for parents, for folks in the community, just for anybody who needs to have some questions answered. They'll be there with all that need to know info. So that's going to be happening tomorrow evening, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico in the Archive Building right next door to the JP White House there at 200 North Lee Avenue. And again, if you have any questions or want more information, find the Chavez County Federated Republican Women on Facebook for all the need-to-know info. 15 minutes after 7 o'clock, going to pause, pay a couple of these bills, and hopefully after the break, we'll be joined by John from Oasis Computers. Stay tuned for another morning without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Travis Hicks, Richland Auto Group. I'm here at Richland Chevrolet and Richland Dodge, living and working through some unprecedented times in my business and in our country. Even though it appears our lots are virtually empty, we're still selling new Chevys, GMCs, Buicks, Cadillacs, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams. They're just selling right off the truck. Keep an eye on our websites. You can find them by Googling Richland Motors Roswell, as they show incoming inventory up to a few weeks out. Also, there hasn't been a better time to sell or trade your car in my whole career. Anemic new car inventories make the value of your car higher than ever. We've recently been able to give people who purchased their vehicles as far back as 2018 as much now as they paid then. Let me say it again. The car you bought as far back as 2018 could be worth as much as you paid for it then. And the best news is that our governor's color designation doesn't change the value of your trade. Freedom, trading at Richland. Just another reason to do business with Richland, where service is now job one.
Bob Reed Pest Control is committed to providing the most modern pest control management solutions for homes and businesses. Bob Reed can handle every aspect of pest control, from general insects to trees, shrubs, yard treatments, and commercial weed control. They're the only authorized Centricon termite elimination system operator in southeastern New Mexico. No job is too big or too small. Call Bob Reed Pest Control today. Southeastern New Mexico's pest management professionals, 623-5344, and find them fast in names and numbers.
For your commercial business, John Deere makes it easy to assemble a team of quality machines with the Green Fleet purchasing program. With Green Fleet, the more you buy, the more you save. It's that simple. The John Deere Green Fleet program is based on a simple point system, allowing you to earn discounts by buying a variety of equipment or several pieces of the same equipment. It's up to you. John Deere's Green Fleet program. Discounts that allow you to boost bottom line profits. Come by Pecos Valley Equipment at 1015 South Atkinson in Roswell, or call 623-7400.
Customizable office equipment is one stop away at PTS Office Systems. Of course, you and the business next door do different things, so you need different office equipment. PTS Office Systems has fully customizable office equipment in stock, waiting to be delivered to your business. Get fully customized office equipment to meet your office's specific needs. The day and age of one-size-fits-all office equipment is gone. Shop around at PTS Office Systems today at 217 North Main in downtown Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
A group of 12 cows is also called a flank. If they're being led into the slaughterhouse, that's a flank steak. 18 minutes after 7 o'clock on your Wednesday morning, Sean Smalls inside your radios. Hard R on the hidden mic to the side. I like how you know that the camera is going to be on camera front, and you're still not willing to take any of the other mics. You're like, I found my space.
I like this space because not very many people sit here.
It's like the Ed McMahon spot, you know? It's like to the Johnny Carson to the Ed McMahon. It's like the Ed McMahon spot. Just off camera, but close enough to give you a yes! No?
No.
Fair enough. All right, I got a question for you, Tanner. We briefly talked about this off air, and I just was gauging your age. You said you're 28 years old.
Yes.
Okay. So the question I have for you is, do you feel like you have lived your best years?
No.
Side
not
question,
yet.
do you feel like you're living your best years, or do you feel like your best years are yet to come?
Yet to come. I'm working towards that.
To come. Okay. So
not that my life hasn't been good so far. I just feel like I haven't lived it to my potential.
Well, and that's kind of the whole idea of this is I feel like I've, sort of been working towards something for most of my life. And the reason I bring this up is there was a recent poll that asked people which decade represented or will represent the best years of your life. Basically, when do you think that you're living your best life? At what point do you feel like you've reached the pinnacle, that you've reached that plateau of this is my best life? I have my answer, and I'm curious about yours. We'll get yours, our answers here in a second. But the biggest group of them all, 24% in this poll, they said in their 30s. They said right there in the 30s. You've already lived some of your adult life. You've hit your stride in your 30s. 21% said it was in their 20s, while 15% went with their 40s. That feels dangerous, but here's the thing. It kind of keeps going from there. 9% actually said their 50s, 7% said their 60s, 6% said under 20. That kind of came in way under the, which if you've lived your best life under the age of 20, I mean.
You had a pretty good life,
you
maybe.
peaked in high school? That's rough.
Well, I mean, if you've gotten to go do everything that most people can't, then I'd say that's a pretty good life.
If you've had an amazing, like if you were like a child actor or like one of the Backstreet Boys, I got to imagine that they probably got a hold of like J.C. Chazé for this poll.
That has its own back.
6% said under 20. That one person was J.C. Chazé. Yeah, he definitely lived his best life back then. But 2% actually said in their 70s, and 1% of amazingly optimistic people said in their 80s.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay, the question is, when do you feel like you will be at your pinnacle, like you're at your peak?
Well, I did watch a video yesterday about how people like to chase goals.
Okay.
That goal-oriented living isn't necessarily fulfillment.
Okay.
Of course, that's what humans are going to do anyway. We're all going to keep chasing goals and doing the things that we want to do, because there's even when you hit where you think you're going to be and think you want to be, you're going to chase something else.
Yeah. Now, I would argue though that it's
you'll find something to do.
Well, and yeah, you will. But I would also argue that it's about what goals you set. It really comes down to like, are you setting long, lofty goals? Are you setting relative? Because like I generally set a goal of I'm going to get up on time tomorrow. You know, that's a goal for me. I feel like if I can scratch little things off my list, it makes me feel more accomplished. By the way, I'm just as I'm looking over here, I'm figuring out what the problem I do have with you sitting there is I'm constantly looking off screen. It's like we need to get you over here so I'm at least, semi.
That's a good point.
Yeah. See? I'm a thinker. But no, I feel like, that it really is about the goals that you set. Like one of the things that sort of helped me get along in keto was specifically that was I'm only going to set a goal of get through the next fast or, make the day's numbers, get your macros for the day. That, if I can do that, that's a goal. And that kind of kept me on that trek, that trajectory. I'm a very addictive personality. Like, if I find something that I like, I love it. It's my thing now.
Potatoes.
It was for a minute. Actually, I got really weirdly into crack slaw. I made it for like every meal. Like every single meal was crack slaw. Constantly. For those who don't know, it's basically, it's like coleslaw, but hot and with beef. You just make a pound of beef, some seasonings, drain off. Well, actually, you don't drain off the fat. You don't. You add more fat to it. Then you add coleslaw mix, and that absorbs and soaks up all that good, good, delicious, flavory goodness. Yeah. And it's simple. It's a one pot meal, easy cleanup. I would have extra, so I would, have more for tomorrow or for the next day. Yeah.
Well,
so that was my go-to easy, quick keto meal. And that's sort of what kept me on that. But that's kind of the argument that I make is it's really about the goals that you set, not necessarily getting to those goals. So that having been said, I kind of, if I'm being honest, I feel like I'm in my stride. Like I feel like right now in this, not even my 30s, but in like my late 30s is like the best years of my life.
I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've gotten to a good place in my career. I'm doing good with my kids. Things are starting to kind of even out as far as like my mental health goes. I mean, it's still touch and go. Don't get me wrong, but things are starting to kind of level out a little bit, and it's just sort of taking things step or day at a time, and we're making it work. And I think so. I think I'm kind of in that sweet spot right now. But the question I had was, yes, when do you think is your good spot? Because you've been working towards that for quite some time. I mean, as far as your career goes, with the stuff that you're doing with video and some of the projects that you have online. I mean, I feel like you've been working towards that for quite some time.
I've been trying to reach a point where, and I don't want to chase equipment or fame or anything like that.
Sure.
But I want to reach a point where I'm at peace with myself and with what I'm doing, and to be able to just make whatever kind of project I want to.
Okay.
Like if I need something on a green screen, I can just go to my little studio and do it. Mm-hmm. Or if I want to go just film White Sands or something,
So
I can just go out and do it. That's where I'm trying to
sweet
get
spot
to.
would be having ready access to the things that you need to make the content that you would want to make, without restrictions of I have to find this funding, or I need this is an assignment. It's more.
It would just be on me, and I could do it.
And I can appreciate that. There was a time in my life where, which if you look at my email, you can see this. There was a time in my life where I was actually toying with the idea of going freelance and just doing my own production, like building my own studio in my home. And that would be a great goal. But at the same time, I feel like being on this team, being with the team at Pecos Valley, I feel like we're accomplishing something. I've worked in radio and at stations in the past where it's, if you're on the air, good enough. Did you make your airtime? Okay, cool. Did you do a clean break? Great. Did you hit your posts? Cool. That's really all. Is your production done? Great. Here, I actually feel like we're accomplishing something. Like the team is moving towards something. We're endearing to the community. We work with the community in a lot of ways, and that's one thing I really admire about this company. To the point where I've shot down other offers, other ideas. Without even thinking about it, because I like being here. That's why I kind of feel like I'm in that sweet spot. Career-wise, I've been working towards here. Not Mike's chair. Not Mike's. I'm over there. I guess I should say. Right over there.
Take over time.
Yeah, no. I'm not pulling no weird coup. Trust me. We need you, Mike. Yeah, you're the lifeblood.
No, we want Mike back.
Of this community. Now, interestingly, when you break it down by age, the majority of people actually seem to choose their current age, ironically, as their best years.
My best life.
Yeah, I'm living my best life.
So happy.
Hashtag best life. But even among those 55 and older, 35% said their best years would be their 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s. Again.
Well, I mean, it is kind of a privilege to get to that age.
In fairness, yeah. If you made it to 81, pain free and with full mobility and still able to control all of your functions, more power to you. I guess you would be hashtag living your best life. But I don't know, man. As
medical technology increases, they might be able to live longer.
It's true. Actually, there was a study,
and happier.
I want to say like last week, that said Hong Kong or Taiwan, they have figured out that the average or like the extent of the human body is 150 years. That you can live to 150 years.
I think it just depends on the telomeres in your DNA.
That's true. The story was, could people alive... the story was, could you live to see the 22nd century?
Potentially.
Could you live to see the 2100s? Yeah. And I would think people born today, sure, you have all the chances in the world for that. Like my kids will more than likely live to see probably the very beginning of the 2100s. But could someone who was, say, for example, born in the 1900s live to see the 2100s? Is that humanly possible?
Potentially.
It's kind of the same idea of there were people that were alive in the 1800s that lived into the 2000s. Well into the 2000s, actually.
That's interesting.
It is. It's kind of crazy.
I bet they think it's so weird, though.
Just to think you've seen 3 different centuries. You've gone from seeing things in the steam culture.
It used to be open country, and now there's Whataburgers and Burger King everywhere.
This used to be all orange groves, far as the eye can see.
I'm not kidding. I can't believe it. It's like Earth used to be such a paradise, and all we've done is turned it into a retail mess.
You paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
But at the same time, I'm so happy we can go get food just
I'm saying, dude, it's a terrible juxtaposition to be in. It's like, I mean, I really do like the convenience, but yeah, we're killing the planet. Then again, we're also in the race to kind of, go kill other planets. So I figure, once Bezos makes it...
Well, I mean, there's nothing on them, so like, what are we going to kill?
Should we be worried that the people who have access to the most money are trying to get off of here as fast as they can?
No, I think they'd want to get space exploration going. I think that's just kind of a boyhood dream.
Or is it a mindset of, we've already done everything we can do down here, let's see what kind of damage we can do up there.
But then again, air superiority is kind of a thing.
But now you're getting into Star Wars. Now we're talking about the Galactic Alliance.
I'm not joking. If Russia or China was on the moon, do you really think that we'd just let that slide?
Oh yeah, no, that dog won't hunt. I agree, but
they'd be able to launch anything they wanted to from anywhere.
They've got a moon base. They've got access to the moon.
Space superiority is a thing, and once that happens, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel
like because of who we are as a society and because of the position that we find ourselves in, I feel like we're probably going to be the first to set up shop on the moon. And if Futurama has taught me anything, we will establish an amusement park there. And it's going to suck. It's going to be a terrible amusement park, but it'll be there.
Why? Because the gravity ride wouldn't work?
Yeah, mostly. No, just because I feel like it's going to be it's going to turn into Uncle Cliff's, basically. It's going to be like, lofty goals at first, but eventually it's just like, once you do the moon park.
I don't know. I remember watching, I don't know what movie it was, but there was like a Subway like on the moon base or something.
Like a restaurant?
I think it was Ad Astra.
Subway restaurant?
Yeah, there was just like a Subway up there. I'm like, this is weird. I mean, I guess you'd have to eat in between terminals.
And one would like to imagine that if you're
moon
stuck,
Subway.
if you're stuck in that position, that you're eating fresh. Speaking of eating fresh, that right there is called a segue, my friend. The Roswell Farmers and Gardeners Market is going to help you eat fresh this summertime season.
That's real fresh.
That's right. Fresh grown, fresh cut right here in our own backyards. You're not going to find fresher produce.
Somebody's backyard.
You can go to the stores. That stuff traveled here on a truck. This stuff did travel there on a truck, but a much smaller truck. Probably with like wooden slats on the side, I'm guessing. The Roswell Farmers and Gardeners Market is on. It officially begins in July, but I believe they're doing like little pop-up Farmers and Gardeners Markets already there on the Chavez County Courthouse lawn. It's every Saturday from 7 to 11 a.m. It's going to run through October of this year. Now, that's every single Saturday from 7 to 11. It's all fresh grown. It's all fresh produced. There's a lot of stuff that's actually produced right here in our backyard, like jams and jellies, locally grown and locally produced honeys. A lot of things that are produced, like Afghans, quilts, different things from local fabrics. And again, everything that you buy from the Farmers and Gardeners Market is produced right here in our area. So you're literally keeping your money as local as you can possibly keep it. It's the best way to spend local. Now, as the Farmers and Gardeners Market gets underway, obviously the courthouse lawn, a lot of space, a lot of open area. They're looking for vendors. So if you want to be a part of the Roswell Farmers and Gardeners Market, if, say, for example, your victory garden that you established right around the time the pandemic started really took off and you want to kind of show off or maybe even sell off some of your wares, well, you can do that by calling Peggy at 208-8238. That's 208-8238 to become a vendor at the Roswell Farmers and Gardeners Market. Or if you want more info, head for mainstreetroswell.org. That's mainstreetroswell.org to get more info about the Main Street Roswell Farmers and Gardeners Market on now for the summertime season. I had a friend who, they started the garden. It was literally, and I hate people like this, but they're like, I think I'm going to try my hand at a garden this year. And because of a combination of just really good soil and like, I don't know, luck, beginner's luck.
No weeds.
They had the best vegetables I have ever seen grown out of a local garden.
No bugs?
No bugs. I mean, a couple of leaves had like some holes in them or whatever, but the vegetables, like they were growing some squash, and the squash that I saw coming out were like gigantic, supple squash.
I've got a green thumb.
And to the point where they were like you'd go over for a visit at their house and they're like, oh, take some squash with you. And they would just like load you up a burlap sack full of squash. It's like, I planted a tomato plant. I planted like 4 of those and I ended up with like a handful of cherry tomatoes at the end of the season. It's like, I dislike
they got
people
on
like that.
YouTube. They just
maybe, I mean, and I know there's tips and tricks out there. I'm bad with plants. I kill succulents. I'm bad with plants in general.
I mean, do you sit there and talk with it and tell it you love it? And
no.
That can help it grow.
I have kids to do that with. That's what I do with my children.
Yeah. You're helping them grow.
I was going to say living, breathing organisms, but dadgummit, shut up. Yeah, I know plant lovers. And I got a friend who's actually, my buddy Ronnie, he's one of the biggest plant lovers on the planet. And he does. All of his plants have, his ferns essentially have names and backstories.
Ooh.
Yeah. And like he's specific about which ones are, they are sensitive to light, which ones have, they prefer this side of the house, this room, because it's a little cooler.
Really?
Yeah, he's real into it. And he lives in an apartment.
Super interesting how that works.
He lives in an apartment, so it's not like he has access to like a garden in a backyard. It's just that sort of.
Is he the plant whisperer?
Kinda. He really is. I mean, you should see his. I'll take some pictures next time I go see him and show you some of his.
There is an art to
his
it.
Plant
There
babies.
definitely is.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it. Now, granted, he has a lot of time to devote to that. I don't. I really don't. I mean, especially not here lately. It's just been constant.
Get a cactus.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. If I can kill a cactus, see.
Wait a minute. You're going to try to kill it?
My mindset is I'm out to kill. I set out to kill. I'm like, okay, let's see if I can mess this up.
No, I think cactus can die. It's just they're designed to not have as much water or care.
But I'm pretty sure that's the perspective. That's the problem with the perspective that I have is literally I'm going into it thinking, how do I mess this up?
You should go find the easiest plant you can take care of and see if you can kill it.
Literally, aloe vera. If you get an aloe plant, dude, you shouldn't be able to kill an aloe plant. I killed an aloe plant.
I was going to say you can overwater.
You can overwater it. Sure, you can drown a succulent, but you can't underwater a succulent. Or at least I didn't think you could. Turns out you can. Really can. I think part of it was still alive, but yeah, the rest of it was really a wash. Yeah, hashtag sad. 35 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's pause and take a check of some local news on this Wednesday morning. Oh, make a liar out of me again. Why don't you? This computer. Doggone it.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Roswell UFO Festival has been around for a quarter of a century. And as it prepares to welcome UFO enthusiasts and many other visitors back to town after a pandemic-forced year off, the slate of festival activities features a variety of events, including a parade, arts and crafts fair, races for runners and walkers, a pool-based dance party, outdoor movies, and an outdoor concert featuring New Mexico's own Cheval Shepherd. This year's UFO Festival will take place July 2nd through 4th, with the various activities happening at different sites throughout Roswell and a multitude of vendors that are scheduled to be part of the festivities. The festival recognizes the 1947 incident that many believe involved a UFO, with one or more not-of-this-world visitors on board, crashing on a ranch in the Roswell area. The full weekend of activities wraps up with the city's July 4th celebration on Independence Day. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
With Amazon Prime Day now less than a week away, I'm Kim Commando with why no one can trust Amazon's customer product reviews. Brought to you by ExpressVPN. Stop people from seeing the sites you visit with ExpressVPN. Get 3 months free at expressvpn.com/Kim. The Wall Street Journal reports that all too often the customer reviews on Amazon are exaggerated. Occasionally, they're completely phony, placed by the sellers themselves. The Journal documents one case where a customer purchased a battery recharger. It arrived with a $35 gift card that would become valid only when the customer left a great 5-star review, a common way for unscrupulous third-party Amazon sellers to gain false but excellent reviews. My advice, buy only recognized product names. Buy directly from Amazon if you can. But if you can't do that, make sure that the third-party seller is well-known and well-respected. Do a quick Google search. Otherwise, don't buy the product at all. I'm Kim Commando. Lots of things can make your workouts hard. Your socks shouldn't. That's why Bombas added their amazing Hex-Tech technology to Bombas Performance Socks. Bombas Performance Socks are stitched with a special moisture-wicking yarn and temperature-regulating vents that allow cool air to flow in and prevent overheating. They come with a pillow-like tab to save you from blisters, stay-up technology, a special arch hugging system, and an extra layer of cushiony comfort on the bottom for the perfect amount of support. You can find different styles for every sport, with specific design features to help you optimize performance and keep you comfortable no matter what you're doing. And like all their socks, for every pair of Bombas Performance Socks you buy, they donate a pair to someone in need. They've donated over 45 million pairs so far. Go to bombas.com/Kim today and get 20% off your first order. That's Bombas, BOMBAS, bombas.com/Kim.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 7% of American adults, roughly 16.4 million Americans, believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. We don't know if they asked them where strawberry milk comes from. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 39 minutes after 7 o'clock on your Wednesday morning. Hey, quick reminder, if you miss any portion of the programming here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM, here on the Mornings with Mike Winters show, this illustrious show that we keep alive amidst even the hard times. So you can always check us out at ksvptv.com. Head on over there, click on the Mornings with Mike Winters tab, and you can be treated to past Mornings with Mike Winters experiences. If you're just jonesing for a little Mikey, you can go get yourself a little Mikey there on the Mornings with Mike Winters page tab over there on KSVPTV.com. And of course, Hard R, our wonderful video producer Tanner, the amazing Tanner, who's done things in this building that I didn't even think were possible since he's been here. Got to give the dude his props. He's always taking those interviews, piecing them up, and putting them up over on our Facebook page. You can access that by heading over to Facebook and just searching for 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. 20 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Let's get you up to date on the weather. I'm good with this computer. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to... See, the one day I needed John from Oasis Computer to come in and kind of, give my computer a talking to, he didn't come in. Sad. Miss you, John. Here's the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot again today. High pressure is still over the southwestern states, and that'll take us up to about 100 for our afternoon high today, and sunny. Clear tonight, our low dropping to about 70, and then we'll stay around 100 with sunshine tomorrow, maybe a little bit breezy in the afternoon. Back up to 100 on Friday and sunny. It looks like we'll be climbing into the low 100s for the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. 71 degrees round Roswell Way. It is fair. That sounds fair. 22 degrees Celsius if you happen to be British. Humidity at about 49%. Wind speed out of the south at about 7 miles per hour. The barometer about 30.17 inches with a dew point of 51 degrees. Looking for hotness. It's going to stay that way for pretty much the rest of summer. Sunny skies, hot today, 100 for the high. Winds out of the southeast, 5 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear, dropping down to an overnight low of about 71 degrees. Winds out of the south, 5 to 15 miles an hour. And for your Thursday, sunny skies and hot with a high of 99 degrees. Winds out of the south, 5 to 15 miles an hour. Thursday night, mostly clear, dropping down to 68. And then we're slipping into that holding pattern of triple digits and beyond for Friday and into the freaking weekend. Sunny and 102 for your Friday. For your Saturday, we're looking at 103 for the high, and then on Sunday, 107 degrees. A bit of a respite from the heat on Monday of next week. They're calling for 99.
Ooh.
Only 99. I know. What are you going to do with your cool down temps?
Same thing I do every day.
Try to take over the world?
No.
No.
Stay cool.
Just stay cool. Stay cool. Like the other side of the pillow. I like it. Dude, okay, so I heard of an incident that happened yesterday that it feels specifically egregious. Like to the point where I'm not totally sure if I buy it.
What happened? Was it in town or somewhere
It was in
else?
town. It was in town. So yesterday was the free swim at the aquatic center.
Oh no.
They opened the pool up or the aquatic center up for free. It was a capacity of 200 people. Now, kids' mom took the kids over to the pool, enjoyed themselves, had a great time. Now, they used specifically that SPF 100 sunscreen that I was talking about earlier.
Isn't that a little overkill, or is that perfect?
Maybe it is. When you have the complexion of my kid's mom and or my son,
yeah,
it's necessary.
You need to protect yourself.
It's basically a burqa in a bottle because they walked. Yeah, it is. They walked away with mild burns, both of them. Like they got red. They didn't get like I've seen Carletta Lobster. I've seen her have gone to like a music festival, and I've seen her from like head to toe. Everything that was exposed was beet red, like comically, like it was like painted on for like a movie.
Oh, that must hurt.
Exactly. It's got.
You can't even move at that point.
So, but this SPF 100 sunscreen, it's spray on, so you can kind of get into the nooks and crannies and the crevices, and it's water resistant for 80 minutes. So it's like the perfect sunscreen. I was so happy when I found this. Like $9 or $10 for this thing of sunscreen. I get a text yesterday after everything wrapped up, after kids were kind of winding down, it's kind of cooling off in the air conditioning. I get a text from Carletta, and it says basically, someone stole the sunscreen. I can't find it anywhere. She said, I can't find it anywhere. And I'm like, well,
did you forget it?
That seems incredibly specific. Like
that is very specific.
Who would steal my sunscreen? So, my thought process is one of two things happened. It got left.
Well, how many bags are there?
One. There's
one.
The diaper bag / pool stuff bag.
And if it's not in there, it was either stolen or forgotten.
Pretty sure it got forgot. I'm pretty sure
that
can happen.
Which cool, but say it got forgot.
Because now I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I need to launch an investigation because this is some good sunscreen, man. This is like
how much was it?
Like $10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, dude.
I wonder people are taking it.
Prohibitively expensive sunscreens we're talking about. This is the realm that we're dealing with. It's like Grand Theft sunscreen at this point.
Well, if you're gonna, well, now you got to protect it.
Right. I feel like I need to have a screen for my sunscreen.
Or you need to leave an empty bottle.
Oh my
God! See if it gets taken.
You know what? Apple does those tags now. That's what they need to do. They need to make the sunscreen tags to where like you can stick them on your sunscreen bottles and you can always track it. Find my sunscreen. That would be helpful.
I don't know. It's like for me,
even
that's
in
like
situations,
stealing glasses if I didn't need them, though.
Even in situations where you wouldn't necessarily have lost it or have it stolen. If, say, for example, you just are about to head out the door and you're like, oh, my sunscreen. Find my sunscreen. Oh, there it is. And you can just walk over and grab it. That's just convenient on a whole other level.
It'd be interesting if you could tag items like that using the barcode.
So I'm a little hurt. I'm a little, like I don't want to assume things about the community that I call home. I wouldn't assume that the people that I live next door to, that I go to church with and see at the movie theaters when I go every other weekend.
God, you're gonna go somewhere and you're gonna see
mini golfing.
You're gonna see the sunscreen get pulled out and you're gonna be like,
sunscreen. Exactly. So I mean, no, but if it got left, cool, no big deal, no harm, no foul.
It could have even been a kid that just picked it up and grabbed it.
If it got stolen, if you just leave it on my doorstep, and I won't ask any questions. I'll look the other way. Nothing ever happened. All right.
What if they get you a whole box?
Just a whole case of the sunscreen. And that's the thing.
Sean wants a whole box. Deliver it to the building.
Here's the thing, and it's so weird how the genetics of my family have worked out. Myself and my daughter were great in the sun. A little bit of sunscreen to make sure, but we go out, we get a base tan. We're olive complected. We're fine in the sun.
And you said SPF 100. Right?
100
sunscreen. He's in desperate need.
My son and Carletta are the most white complected human beings on the planet. Like, and they admit to that fact. They own that fact. That's the reason they stay inside most of the time is just outside stuff doesn't work for them.
They need to get a little bit every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you got to get a base
and get used to it.
Sort of, be out there in it every day. And I'm painfully white, like on this side of my arm.
White.
But I have a driver's tan. If you look at these two arms, I'm darker on this arm than I am on this arm. Because I drive a lot. Yeah.
But that's just kind of because, the lower side of your arm is not shown.
I have done that before, though. And you look real weird when you're doing it. Just trying to get some sun on the bottoms of your arms.
That's what plants do.
Yeah, people look at you and say, I'm just sunning the undersides.
They're just open.
That's what we need to establish worship sessions on beachfront, like in the middle of the day. So the people are out there doing their thing and they're not going to feel self-conscious because, they're just soaking in the Lord and the sun.
Yeah.
I like it. Big floppy hat, the rest of you are protected, or you're just sunning them undersides.
See, your underarms the undersides of your arms are still going to be white after the day.
Your underarms, that's a whole other thing.
Yes.
Which that lends itself. Do you remember that from several years ago? That was a trend where, I don't know if it was on TikTok or where it was, but people were, how do I put this on the radio? They were sunning, that phrase where the sun don't shine?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were sunning the place where the sun don't shine. People were going out into open fields, standing agape, essentially, and sunning their
wide, every bit of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid saying the word anus. They were sunning their anus.
Ah,
yeah, the balloon knot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for some reason, because they said apparently you can soak up energy through the sun that way. Apparently, yeah.
You can soak up energy through the sun with any kind of.
But apparently, it's
body part.
Do you have certain capillaries in that region of the body that soak it up faster? So people were actually going out into open fields and just spreading cheeks and letting the sun shine in.
Just waiting for the sunny D.
We need to take a break, a little palate cleanser, I think. Let's go ahead and do that. Quick break here as we see what's happening with. I know I'm the one that brought it up, but I think we need a palate cleanser. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back after these.
Hello, my name is Phil Hauser, CEO of DSI. With the U.S. reaching more than 5 million testing positive for the coronavirus, it is even more vital to be prepared with the necessary technology to work remotely. Over the past couple of months, we've introduced a brand new technology to our communities. in temperature detection, helping schools and businesses across the state open more safely. Thank you for keeping it in New Mexico. Please call DSI for all your office technology needs.
It's time for the Southeastern New Mexico Sports Report. The Artesia Bulldogs baseball team is setting itself up for a rematch with the Goddard Rockets on Friday by winning last night at Lovington, a doubleheader sweep for the Bulldogs 8-0 and 11-1. Artesia now 12-5 on the season, 8-2 in district. Also in baseball action, NMMI blows out Tucumcari on the road 17-2. In softball action, it was doubleheader sweeps for both Goddard and Artesia to finish off the regular season. Artesia now 11-1 in district after sweeping by Lovington by scores of 12-1, 12-2. Goddard, meanwhile, takes care of business against Portales 12-0 and 4-1. The Lady Rockets finished the regular season 13-7, hoping for a postseason berth. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at 92.9, The Brand.
For the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander. Emirates Airlines has announced a net loss of $5.5 billion over the past year, as revenue fell by more than 66%. The airline says it's due to global travel restrictions sparked by the coronavirus pandemic. The Dubai-based airline said on Tuesday that revenue had declined by $8.4 billion. A British researcher is suggesting that 7 may be a magic number for American media consumers. That may be the limit to the number of streaming services, either paid or free, that many consumers prefer. On Wall Street, the Dow fell 94 points to 34,299. The Nasdaq down 101 to 14,072. And the S&P 500 fell 8 to 4,246. For the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
When you need an oil change, but you don't want to sit at the shop all day, call Nazca Quick Lube. They're new to town, and what makes them unique is that they come to you. As your car is parked at work or wherever, they will change the oil and provide a tire rotation and restore your headlights, so you don't have to spend hours sitting at the shop. Call 808-9134. That's 808-9134. Nazca Quick Lube. Let their quality service come to you.
As the school year comes to an end and COVID restrictions start to ease, don't lose sight of the lessons learned. Cover your cough, positive personal hygiene, respect one another, show and tell others you love them. Fiscal and social responsibility are great ways to show your love. This is Damon Graham, your local New York Life agent. I can help you show your love to others. Call me at 575-623-0803 so we can determine how you best can show your love. Expect to be blessed.
Well, the geraniums were a little slow at getting started this year, but now they're ready to go. Hi, this is Jim Gilf with a lesson in delayed gratification. At Roswell Seed Company, we grow our own geraniums, and that old polar vortex sure slowed them down. But now they may be the sturdiest, most colorful geraniums you've ever put in the ground. So come get yours today. Kind of like your neighbor's son who's still living in the basement. Late bloomers can be the brightest of them all. Or maybe not. Have you seen that kid?
We serve all New Mexico. If you think it's hard to take out a home loan, those rumors are wrong. It's not true. Contact Loan Officer Elliot Rodriguez, MLS number 41002 at CMG Financial, phone number 719-237-4680. At CMG Financial, we can help. Experience extraordinary with CMG Financial, every customer, every time, no exceptions, no excuses. CMG Financial is a registered trade name of CMG Mortgage Incorporated, MLS 1820. CMG Mortgage Incorporated is equal opportunity lender. To verify complete list of states licensed, visit www.mlsconsumersaccess.org.
Equal fair housing is the right for everyone to have access to all housing opportunities without discrimination based on race, religion, national origin, sex, color, familial status, or disability.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. During your lifetime, you'll produce enough saliva to fill 2 swimming pools. Spit out this bit of information at your next pool party. Here's Mike Winters.
The trick is doing that all at once. That's how you know you won the party over. 6 minutes away from 8 o'clock on your Wednesday morning. Sean Smalls filling in for Mixmaster Mike Winters inside your radios. Hey, Tanner. What? Guess what today is?
Wednesday.
It is. You know what else it is?
What?
It's Read with the Invaders Day. Ooh, that's right. Read with the Invaders Day at Joe Bauman Stadium. That's right. Your chance to bring a book, read with an invader, or have an invader read to you.
Can it be any book?
I think it could. I would love to take out The Joy of Sex and just sit on an invader's lap and see if he'll read it to me. Skip to the good parts, could you? Just sit on his lap and let him read. I'm sure it has to be an appropriate book. I'm sure it has to be. But they'll also be doing a wiffle ball game, which, you know what? Have you ever watched wiffle ball? Mike got me into this weirdly like a few months ago. He got down this weird rabbit hole of watching wiffle ball pitches. Wiffle ball pitches are amazing.
They don't really work the same way.
They don't. But
because
the way
of the holes in the ball.
The way they can manipulate those balls, let me rephrase that. The way you can manipulate a wiffle ball is astonishing. So, yeah, just if you ever get a chance, that's a fun deep dive. Just go on YouTube and just look up wiffle ball pitch compilation. You'll see like some spirals. Sometimes they'll go like they'll veer this way and then they'll swerve that. It's crazy the way they can move these. It's crazy the way they can move their balls. There it is. But in addition to the reading with the invaders, in addition to the wiffle ball game, you also enjoy a hot dog lunch afterwards. Who doesn't like a nice hot dog at the ballpark? $20 gets you in there to enjoy reading with the invaders today from 10 to noon over there at Joe Bauman Stadium. It's going to be a great time, so come on out and be a part of the Read with the Invaders Day. That's happening later today, 10 to noon at Joe Bauman Field. If you miss out today, they're going to have this 2 more times throughout the summer, once on Friday, July the 9th, and then the final session of the summer is Thursday, July the 22nd. In addition to that, the youth baseball camp is underway, or it's been going to be getting underway once again this coming Monday. They're actually running 2 weeks now and then 2 weeks in July. It's open to players 6 to 17. You have your chance to jump on the field with the Roswell Invaders. We're talking about a legit farm team of an actual MLB team. So you're playing with some of the best in our region, and they're going to teach you the tips and tricks that you need to be your best out there on the diamond. It's open to players 6 through 17. Players should come fully dressed in a baseball uniform with their own bat and glove. And if you're truly committed, you also need to be wearing one of those, the hat that Smalls is wearing in The Sandlot, that really long brimmed hat. Yeah, you need to get you one of those. I don't know where you'd find one of those these days. Is it
functional?
Well, yeah, it blocks more of the sun. It's good for, I think they said it's like good for outfielders or something like that, because it blocks so much more of the sun. It kind of allows you to, when you tip it up, you can
Why don't they wear cowboy hats?
I don't know. Probably because it's not fashionable. But you've seen The Sandlot, right?
No.
No? The hell out of my studio. Don't leave. I need you. But it's seriously one of the best movies of all time. You need to go back and watch. It stands the test of time, dude. It's great. I mean, Wendy Peppercorn, the whole the whole thing. It's such a good movie. Anyways, the hat that Smalls is wearing in that movie is a real long brimmed baseball cap, basically. And he wears it throughout the entirety of the movie. It's like the Smalls hat. So yeah, if you are truly committed to to being a part of the Invaders, wear your Smalls hat in addition to your uniform, plus your bat and glove. Make sure to bring that with you to the field for Invaders Youth Baseball Camp. It's $35 for admission, and you will receive a camp T-shirt. Now, payments need to be made the day of by cash, credit card, check. If you want more information, you can head over to their little place in cyberspace. That's RoswellInvaders.com, RoswellInvaders.com for all that need-to-know info. I've lost my notes. Coming up next hour, we're going to be sitting down with County Commissioners Jeff Bilberry and Will Cavan. Going to receive a bit of an education on everything they can tell us regarding the county commission, the most recent county commission meeting, and see what they've been up to lately. Then coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, I will be sitting down with Miss Andrea Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce as we get closer and closer to back to normal, starting to kind of get back out there, see what's waiting for us. There's still a couple of holdouts that I'm really looking forward to. Like, I know the theaters are starting to open up, but I still need to have that first back in the theater experience.
They've been open.
Yeah, they're open, but I need to get back in there. That's more on me than anybody else. But we'll chat with Andrea Moore and see what the Roswell Chamber of Commerce is getting up to as we get closer and closer to festival season 2021. That's coming up here in just a little bit. Keep it locked right here on 106.5 KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. More after this.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. At a lakeside villa in Geneva, reporters shout questions at President Biden and Russian President Putin and shout at each other just ahead of the president's high-stakes summit now underway.
The two leaders arrived for their talks at an 18th century manor house and were welcomed by the Swiss president.
I wish you both presidents a fruitful dialogue in the interest of your two countries and the world.
A few minutes later, the presidents kicked off their meeting.
And I hope that our meeting will be productive.
Well, thank you. As I said outside, I think it's always better to meet face to face.
Today's summit comes at a low point in diplomatic relations between the U.S. and Russia.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston says two presidents expected to address everything from cybercrime to Russia's alleged interference in U.S. elections. President Biden and Putin have now wrapped up the first round of their talks. They're moving on to the first of two larger meetings. Israel has carried out airstrikes targeting military assets in Gaza. The Israelis say it's retaliation for Hamas floating explosive balloons into southern Israel.
The airstrikes lasted around 10 minutes, so comparatively a short period of time compared to the kind of hostilities we were seeing a few weeks ago. No reports of any casualties.
The BBC's Tom Bateman in Jerusalem says these are the first hostilities since Israel and Hamas signed a ceasefire deal ending their latest war. As air conditioners struggle to keep things cool in the midst of the western heat wave, Texans being urged yet again to conserve electricity. More record-breaking highs expected today across the west and the plains, parts of Utah and Wyoming, Idaho and Montana, among places that will see extreme heat and perhaps set new high temperature records today. Wall Street, the Dow down 46 points. NASDAQ is up 40. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I have a traumatizing childhood memory of an Easter egg hunt. The big hunt was a big deal in our family, and I have this memory of running and excitedly reaching for eggs, only to have my big brother and sister sweep in and steal them at the last second. It's Ryan, and unfortunately, this is a traumatizing reality our Faith and Family Mortgage team is seeing from families across the country. Families are finding their dream home, only to have it pulled away by another hunter at the last second. At United Faith Mortgage, we unfortunately cannot scare off the other hunters, but we can very quickly get you pre-approved and make it look as good as possible to sellers. And then, once you do grab that Easter egg,
see our story and read how our direct lender advantage can often save your family monthly and lifelong money at UnitedFaithMortgage.com.
We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1335. REC NMLS number 65233. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
The leftist candidate in Peru's tightly contested presidential runoff has held a rally in Lima, urging election authorities to confirm his victory. With all of the ballots counted, he has a razor-thin lead over his right-wing challenger, Keiko Fujimori. Journalist Simeon Teagle is in Lima and spoke with the BBC.
This time, Keiko Fujimori is doing something that is unprecedented in Peru. She is not just claiming that there has been electoral fraud, but she has launched this blizzard of legal challenges to the votes. And so the electoral authorities are now having to process those. It's also very important to understand that election observers have given the election a clean bill of health. They've said it was run very well in a transparent way and that there were no significant issues.
Journalist Simeon Teagle in Lima. News and analysis at townhall.com. Southwest Airlines was hit with another system-wide computer outage on Tuesday, following similar issues Monday night.
The airline asked the Federal Aviation Administration to ground all of its U.S. flights over technical issues. Southwest released a statement on social media acknowledging the problems. Multiple airports informed passengers of the delays. The system outage comes a day after a similar issue delayed flights by hours Monday night. Southwest had to ground all flights after a glitch meant that operators stopped receiving vital weather information. A company spokesperson said its third-party weather data provider had experienced intermittent performance issues. Bernie Bennett reporting.
California is reopening after 15 months of coronavirus restrictions. It's being met with exuberance, but also a certain measure of caution. The state ended its color-coded restriction system, allowing restaurants, gyms, and other businesses to lift capacity limits that have been in effect since the pandemic hit. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2. The deuce of a morning without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday morning. Welcome to Halfway Day. No, it's not Hump Day. I refuse to call it that. The inception of my radio career. It ain't a hump. It's Halfway Day. There it is. So enjoy your halfway day. Get out there and soak up some of that sun. You're going to have plenty of it today. Once again, triple digits for most of southeastern New Mexico. I'm going to just go ahead and call it through the rest of summer. We've entered that holding pattern of hot weather for the rest of summer. We'll get into your weather forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. And then coming up around 8:15 or so, I'll be chatting with County Commissioners Jeff Bilberry and Will Cavan all about the 30-30 plan they have that they've been implementing, as well as some commission meetings, some special sessions they've got going on, and just what's been going on out County Way. We'll dive into that coming up in just a few minutes. Plus, we'll get into, of course, your Sean Hannity update, I believe, coming up here in just a few minutes. No, that's the 9 o'clock hour. And, of course, whatever else comes across this fine desk here on this Wednesday morning. 7 minutes after 8 o'clock, I'm going to take a quick moment and tell you about Plateau, because Plateau, we've got a fantastic deal for you. If you are looking for entertainment, and who isn't these days? We're constantly looking for your next streaming service, for the streaming service that's going to give you all the stuff that you want, and you try to piecemeal it out with your Netflixes and your Hulus. Well, I think I got your answer right here. It's Plateau's new app-based service. It's called Plateau Stream. It's your chance to enjoy all of your favorite Plateau channels on multiple devices within the home. If you've got kids, then you know they're sucking up the internet. They're off doing their own thing. They're watching their devices. Maybe they're taking up your TV. Maybe you've got the older generation who are constantly watching their Westerns at far too loud of a volume. You know who I'm talking about, Uncle Tom. But if you're in that situation and you're stuck, you want to watch something, you can access your Plateau Stream from your device. That's right, it's just that simple. With this new service, you have cloud-based DVR that can be accessed from most devices within your home, along with start over and look back functionality. Plus, Plateau Stream has subscription video on demand. If you want more information, or if you want to get signed up for the service, head over to plateau.tv/stream. That's Plateau, plateau.tv/stream. They'll get you hooked up with all the need-to-know info. 9 minutes after 8 o'clock on your Wednesday morning, let's pause and get a quick update on that weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot again today. High pressure is still over the southwestern states, and that'll take us up to about 100 for our afternoon high today, and sunny. Clear tonight, our low dropping to about 70, and then we'll stay around 100 with sunshine tomorrow, maybe a little bit breezy in the afternoon. Back up to 100 on Friday, and sunny. It looks like we'll be climbing into the low 100s for the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, 9 minutes after 8 o'clock, 76 degrees around Roswell Way. Humidity at about 45% with wind speed out of the south at about 8 miles an hour. The barometer sitting at about 30.19 inches with a dew point of 53 degrees. Looking at 100 degrees for the high today under mostly sunny skies. It's going to be hot out there for the duration of the summertime season. It's southeastern New Mexico. What'd you expect? Winds out of the southeast 5 to 15 miles an hour for tonight. Mostly clear, dropping down to a much more manageable 71 degrees. Sunny and hot, 99 for tomorrow. And back into triple digits just in time for Friday and the freaking weekend. 102 for your Friday, 103 for Saturday. And then an ungodly 107 for the high on Sunday. Well, if you like heat, we got you covered. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's pause, pay a couple bills, and after these, we're sitting down with the commissioners on the other side of another morning with Mike Winters, without Mike Winters, on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Stay tuned.
Authentic Asian dishes start with authentic ingredients. And Asian Market is your one-stop shop for all those hard-to-find authentic ingredients. Kimchi, pork belly, fresh young coconut, white miso paste, and a variety of mushrooms. Plus red snapper, cuttlefish, green mussels, clam meat, and more. Authentic flavors like holy basil, Thai chili, and even more waiting for you at Asian Market. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sundays, noon to 7 at 5702 South Main in Roswell. Come experience the flavors of the East at Asian Market.
Customizable office equipment is one stop away at PTS Office Systems. Of course, you and the business next door do different things, so you need different office equipment. PTS Office Systems has fully customizable office equipment in stock, waiting to be delivered to your business. Get fully customized office equipment to meet your office's specific needs. The day and age of one-size-fits-all office equipment is gone. Shop around at PTS Office Systems today at 217 North Main in downtown Roswell.
Are you looking for a new church home? Tabernacle Baptist Church in Roswell personally invites you to any one of their 4 services, with 3 on Sunday and 1 on Wednesday. Services are Sunday at 10 and 11 in the morning and 6 in the evening. On Wednesday evening, service is at 7. Tabernacle Baptist Church is across from DeBrenham Stadium in Roswell. The family at Tabernacle Baptist Church would love to have your family join them as they celebrate God. Come and grow together.
It's an idea whose time has come. The MTA Mechanics and Tires Mobile Tire Shop. No longer will the drama of auto service ruin your entire day. Instead, MTA Mechanics and Tires will come to you. MTA will install new tires, fix your brakes, or just fix a flat while your vehicle is at work, home, or even the airport. So skip the drama. Call the Mobile Tire Shop at MTA Mechanics and Tires, covering Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The average person spends 6 months of their lifetime waiting for a red light to turn green. Share this information with a police officer that pulls you over the next time you run a red light. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. Joining us in studio this morning, County Commissioners Jeff Bilberry and Will Cavan. How are you doing this morning, gentlemen?
Everything's going good this morning, Sean. Good to be with you.
So far, so good. I think we've kind of hit I'm going to have you get on that mic just a little closer there. I think we've hit a weird stride where this happened the other day, and it was like the first time in a long time, and I noticed it. I was like, hey, Mike, I think this is the first slow news day we've had in a really long time. Like there was just nothing going on that one specific day. It was just like, it's a slow news day. We haven't had one of those in a real long time.
And then what happened?
Then of course we went back into utter chaos and madness. But for that one day, it was just like an eddy in the raging stream that's been 2020 and 2021. But that one shining moment, it was calm. You guys haven't had that calm yet, have you? You haven't hit those slow news days, I'm assuming.
No, I can't say we have. And you know, between flooding and the heat and everything else, I mean, it's just a nonstop deal.
Constant
for all of us. So
we've literally had all of the seasons in the last 5 months. It was blizzard, it was torrential downpour, half the city, underwater, and now heat wave. It's been madness.
Well, if you go back to October, late October, we had that heavy snow that was kind of. I mean, we've had snow in October before, but not like that.
No.
So, no, you're right. It's been different.
And like I said, you guys, we were talking about this off the air, but you guys have not had a slow season. It's been constantly going, and you guys are out there, making things happen, making decisions. You guys have been working something interesting as of late. This 30-30 plan. I'm real interested to learn more about that. So what is that? Tell us a little bit more about that, and how did it come about, and what are you guys seeking to do with it?
Well, I'm going to let Commissioner Bilberry kind of start this one.
Sure.
Well, it started back in January when President Biden signed an executive order in the name of tackling the climate crisis at home and abroad. And as you delve into this thing more, it's a big picture of what they feel like of preserving the lands for climate change, and it's going to be accomplished by 2030. 9 years from now.
Oh, yeah?
So it's a plan that's pretty advanced. A lot of radical environmentalists have calling for permanent protection of 30% of Americans' lands and oceans. What does that mean? What does that look like? We've asked these questions. It's pretty broad deal when you go looking at it.
It's the mindset of, we're planning it out right now. We'll get to the specifics later, is kind of what they're saying.
Basically, it's what it looks like.
When does later come?
Yeah, it sure does.
When's later going to come?
How we're going to get there. And I mean, the thing is with the land and the water aspect of it. I mean, when you talk about water, it's our rivers, it's our lakes, it's our coastlines, and there's a lot of businesses that go on in those areas, not to mention our land where we have our homes, we have our ranches, our farms, and oil and gas industry going on, you name it.
Yeah.
And so there's kind of, they started out with this as the 30-30 plan, and now they've kind of changed it up, and they're calling it, I think it's the America the Beautiful deal, to try and throw some lipstick on the pig.
Yeah. Shine up the turd.
But the fact of the matter is this is a global deal. I mean, we're calling it 30-30, but if you're looking at the global perspective of it, global wants 50-50.
Yeah, it's not just the United States; it's a global thing that's going on.
Right, and it is. It's kind of all the countries kind of taking those proactive steps. But if you look at the steps they're trying to take, here in the United States, it's unsustainable. It's what they look to accomplish is not a sustainable model.
Well, and you're right about that, Sean. And the fact is that this isn't going to be as detrimental to the eastern half of the United States, as it's going to be to the western half, because the United States still owns a majority of the land in the western half of the United States through the different federal entities. So
once you go west of the Mississippi, the scope changes.
Yeah,
and it affects everybody there. And some of the stuff that I've looked at, it will affect people east of the coast because it's primarily private property, and so they're trying to figure out how to deal with that. And it'll come through endangered species. It'll come through water regulations. There'll be ways to manipulate it to where they'll control the private property.
I've heard this phrase tossed around a lot. It's or a couple times. It's the totalitarian tiptoe. Basically, it's a slow movement into madness. Essentially, we're easing our way in there, so it's not a shocker. So it's not coming all at once.
They're just going to nibble away at it. Well,
yeah.
One of the things, Will, that the National Geographic Society, they stated that it takes 440 million acres more than the government owns right now. That's what their plan is, to take 440 million more acres to meet the 30-30 goal.
Yeah, and we're not making
440 million acres, which you already have, I think, 643 million acres they already control, I believe, in the United States. But you take 440 million more.
That's the rest of it.
It's not going to just be west of the Mississippi.
Right. Yeah, and the more they increase these regulations, make protected lands. We talked about it off the air. And I use the lesser prairie chicken as just kind of the silly example to me. But all these situations where they're establishing safe zones and cutting off access to these lands, it's cutting people off, their livelihoods.
Well, and that's exactly it, Sean. You know, I was just out in Montana for our WIR meetings out there, and we were fixing to get into talking about the 3030 plan and land grab as it is. And that day they came out with the fact that they were coming back for round 2 or round 3 of trying to put the lesser prairie chicken on the endangered species list. So all it is trying to eat up more and take more control of land with these ACECs and these like wilderness areas. And they're going to tell you that they're collaborating with us and they're working to conserve and conservation and stuff. But when it comes right down to it, it's about control and them taking it.
Yeah, what people see when they see New Mexico is they see the North 40. They don't tend to see, south, like the industries that exist down here. They look at us as like the rest of, New Mexico is Albuquerque and Santa Fe. They don't see, the actual hard work that comes from this part of the country and all those lands that they're, cordoning off. There's actual money that is, livelihoods that are dependent on it.
Well, southeastern New Mexico is funding the state of New Mexico.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't work without us. And so it's that mindset of the plan that they have, that they're putting in place. I don't feel like they've necessarily looked into all of the gaps in it, and I think
what they want is
we're one of the
seat
gaps
at our table,
right?
To be part of whatever our business is or in our communities, whatever they want a seat at our table to help us, quote unquote, manage,
right?
And tell us what they think we need to do. We're the best managers of our own.
We don't need any assistance. We've handled our own.
We're doing good.
Well,
exactly.
And that's exactly right. And the thing is you go back to energy and you're talking about Texas and everything like that. Here in Chaves County, and I think most people, common sense, are energy opportunists. I mean, the renewables, your wind farms, your solar, all those things, but you're not gonna be able to move forward without your oil and gas,
right?
And without your coal-fired plants, and with
it's
your
a
gas.
It's a multifaceted plan. You need all of these things in order to make the whole thing work.
You've got to stay balanced.
And
you have to.
That's kind of the mindset I've always had. Is you don't we cut one off completely. You're cutting the entire system off. It's an overall lessening of the strain on all of the different forms of energy that we're getting, drawing a little bit from solar, drawing a little bit from wind, drawing some from wave, drawing from oil and gas or from coal, drawing from nuclear. There's drawing from all these different places to lessen the strain on the systems as a whole.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, we were out in Spokane a couple of years ago, and man, I tell you what, the use of your rivers and your water are a pretty powerful source of energy.
Oh yeah, hydroelectricity is amazing.
But you got to be balanced,
right?
There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
100%. And that's something that we've seen countless times. We've actually seen a couple of times just in the last less than 6 months with the situation in Texas. With the power restrictions. With the situation with ERCOT and how they the half of the state was shut down completely for days. People lost their lives. And over here, just a few miles, on the other side of the border, we managed. It was rough, but we managed.
Right. Well, we ended up having to take power outages so that we could help out our friends in Texas and give them some power to keep going. But
I remember the day of the sweeping brownouts. That was rough because we were here in studio and we were down for that 2 hours. That's when you're dealing with minutes of dead air, that really gets into your head.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be problematic,
sure.
and you can't put all your eggs in one basket with some of this stuff they're pushing, and to imagine that by 2035 that we're going to be in all electric cars.
No.
Is it's wishful thinking.
Indeed, I agree 100%. It's show me, prove it. It's the number of. I was thinking about. There's literally, I think, one charging station in the entirety of Roswell right now, or I think they're in the process of putting one at the McDonald's.
Yeah,
and that's it. It's like if you have an electric car, what do you do? I guess
I was
charge
in
home.
California last week, and they're everywhere.
Yeah,
on the major interstates, they're everywhere. So. It's coming, but it's the infrastructure of it's not there. Once again, it's balanced, like you were talking about.
Right.
What works in metropolitan areas doesn't work in rural areas.
Well, that's exactly right. Well, Jeff, we live here in Roswell, and we're about 200 miles from anywhere as far as going to Albuquerque or Lubbock or wherever. And you see these old places that are deteriorating that used to be gas stations because you had to have those gas stations every 50 miles or so to get. But we may be back to, if you get to that deal, you may be back to having those stations created so that people can stop and recharge their cars.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but like you said, we're at the beginning of all of this. It's a cool idea. It's a great, it'd be great to put all these things into practice, but we're not there yet.
No.
And to jump to the conclusion of, okay, well, we've got the concept. Now it'll happen by this date. That's out of the,
and no carbon
crazy.
footprint.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, really.
Right.
So I don't know if you've ever seen any pictures from the construction of one of these wind turbines, but you would be amazed at the amount of concrete and rebarb that's used just for the base of it. But you're concerned about the footprints that you're putting out here for our environment and climate and everything. And it's
and we talk about renewable energies on that part. There's not one thing on that wind turbine that's renewable. We can't reuse it.
Right.
And once it's out of date, antiquated, there's no place for it to.
Yeah.
There's nothing to recycle on it.
And then you look at manufacture of parts. The factories that are manufacturing those parts. What's running their power? Are they using coal, nuclear to run their power? You trace the cake back to its ingredients, so to speak.
Right. Well, and then the fossil fuels you have to use to keep it in operation and everything. So, well, let's jump back to this 30-30 deal.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good county commission meeting tomorrow morning, and that's going to be one of our main topics. One of the folks that we have working with us on this is Miss Margaret Byfeld. And, she's really dug into this deal, and then we're gonna have a special meeting tomorrow night at 7.
Oh wow!
At the fairgrounds, so that more people can attend. Our meetings are in the morning during the week, and so you got our guys that are taking care of.
Yeah, it's a little prohibitive.
Working that will have the opportunity to come tomorrow night, but I'll let Jeff kind of talk about that a little bit more.
Sure. One thing they mentioned is Margaret's with American Stewards of Liberty.
Yes.
And they helped us a lot back when we were working with Prairie Chicken.
Right.
Before, and so they've done a lot of work for the county and then for the industries here in the county. Some of the things that, and I would ask anybody who's listening, everybody's got a cell phone, everybody's got internet. Google Biden's 30-30 by plan.
Yeah.
You're going to get overrun with all types of information, but educate yourself.
Right.
Some of the things they're asking or going to do is to incentivize people to participate in conservation, they call it. There's already a lot of programs that a lot of people are in that are incentivized. We just look at what's happened just through the COVID. People receiving unemployment and all these checks from the government, and there's people not going back to work because of it. So anyway, I think everybody needs to take a bigger look, open their eyes wider to what's really going on here.
Absolutely.
But if they feel like they can buy us out or entice us into something through incentivizing through financial means, everybody has to make that decision themselves, what they're willing to give up. There's always things that come with a price.
Yeah, and the more that you're willing to give up, the more they're willing to take.
They
more and more each time.
Some of the stuff that I've read is a little bit disturbing. About who's at the table to help make these decisions.
See, and that's one thing that I think needs to be touched on, and one thing that I sort of I like about modern internet culture is a lot of people aren't just soaking up the information. People are following the money. People are going up the ladder to see who's funding these studies, who's putting the money behind these organizations, these groups, these PACs, and a lot of that is sort of getting exposed, so to speak. People aren't just just being bottle fed anymore, and I really like the fact that it's almost like a wake up.
And I myself, that's how I've learned a lot of this, and what little I do know is that you need people. I don't care whether you live in the city or the town, or you live on a ranch or a farm, wherever you live. You need to take a look at this because it's a bigger plan than just quote unquote a land grab.
Sure.
Which it is.
It's
but
that.
We need to take, more. Everybody needs to educate yourself because each business or each family, each person. I mean, when they look at it, it could affect you in a different way than it could your neighbor. But collectively, when you look at us here in southeastern New Mexico or the state of New Mexico or the West, it's going to affect us. Right. It's coming.
Absolutely.
This is coming. It's not something that's going to be, that'll never happen. I've even been told, well, it'll never happen. It'll be tied up in courts, lawyers. That'd be exactly what they want to happen, and they'll move their agenda forward. We've watched all of that for 6 months.
Yeah, it
doesn't matter what you do. Their agenda keeps moving on.
Holding the fence up and kind of, ushering your stuff through while other people are looking up here.
Kind of like what's going on at the border right now. But,
yeah.
So, and we focus a lot on the land aspect of this 30-30 plan, but the 30 is one part land, but the other 30 is your waterways, like once again your lakes and your rivers and your coasts. I mean, that's going to affect a lot of people's livelihoods.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what will happen east of the Mississippi. It'll be through water. It'll be through controlling. If they can get control of the water, then they can control whatever they. And I say anybody who has control of the water has control of what you do, and we're all vulnerable to that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, southeastern New Mexico and West Texas, we just even in the last several years, people remember it was tangible that we've had issues with water rights and who had access to what, and it's of great importance. Who's controlling the water is controlling everything else.
But it's basically down to a constitutional right.
Right.
Our constitutional rights have been infringed on time and time again, and this is just one more of those rights that we have that we the people are not being represented.
Right. Well, you shut down, so you can shut down your offshore oil drilling, you shut down your commercial fishing programs, you can shut down a lot of stuff, and it's, once again, it takes away the livelihood. And then, of course, we'll compensate you for that and just send you a check on a monthly basis, and that's the problem, and that's the where we're at right now.
It's once again get on the teat.
You can America the Beautiful is what they're putting out right now for this 30-30 plan, and it looks really great. Like I said, on the outside, it's this big facade, but you walk through the door, and also you're like, well, this wasn't what I was buying into.
One of the big questions is how will this come about? I mean, will it go through federal land policies, management acts? The National Forest Management Act, Antiquities Act. They've already used these things to create monuments, big monuments, and take massive amount of acreages off of tax rolls, out of people's hands. Once it goes to wilderness, no matter what you think, you will not be able to go in there the way you want to go in there. There will always be. You may be able to go into wilderness, but you can't go in the way you can now to access public lands, quote unquote.
Access, but with caveats.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, I can tell you right now, the state of Utah is up in arms because of this stuff, and they're just eating it up, the land up there right now, and the monuments that they've created and everything else, and it just it's a bad deal.
And it stopped. The oil and gas will stop anything that's a benefit to mankind. Basically, will cease.
Right.
I mean, they want there's some verbiage about 50% of the land in the United States being taken up.
It's one of those things where if you take a step back and you look at, if you have one industry, all the different tentacles of that industry that are affected. If you affect oil and gas, that is, there are so many different industries that are touched by that, and so many different places that are that are impacted, and those tentacles then have other tentacles that are impacted, and it's a spider web of issues essentially. So
well, I mean, you're exactly right about that spider web. Yes. I mean, right now, because of COVID and everything's been shut down, your manufacturing and everything, people's refrigerators are breaking down, their air conditioning units are going out.
Right.
their cars breaking down with parts, and everybody's trying to find parts and everything, and they can't because of the trickle down effect of this COVID stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you hadn't had anybody back to work, and they're not going back to work right now because they're making money
because they're comfy.
They're making more money staying home and not going back to work.
I was
just ridiculous.
I had a friend who just happened to slip out how much they were making in their unemployment, and I wanted to go punch a wall. I'm like, I work hard, man.
Right.
But
well, the funny thing is, I saw a meme on Facebook the other day that I had to share. But back, Jeff and I aren't young guys anymore. But back in the day,
oh stop!
Back in the day, being on unemployment wasn't something that you wore a badge.
No,
and it was kind of you were kind of ashamed of it.
Yeah.
And right now it's like I'm making bank. I'm happy being unemployed because I'm making money.
Yeah.
And that's not what this country was founded on.
Right.
Our hard work, character, work ethic, and everything. And now it's kind of our government has kind of put you in a position where, hey, we'll give you money if you just stay home.
Yeah.
And it's a sad state of affairs.
It's a scary precedent because it shows me how comfortable we as a society are to just slipping into that mode.
Right.
Of just here's a bottle, and just letting the government do it.
And that is socialism.
Right.
Socialism.
That's scary.
Socialism.
That's scary,
Yeah,
and
it really is.
That's why we appreciate guys like you who are out there on the forefront who are, stopping stuff like this before it happens.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get in front of it.
A lot of weird analogies we've used this morning. I've noticed some spider webs, a lot of bottle feeding, but it's painting a picture essentially of that we're standing on the on the precipice, so to speak, standing at the doorway of some serious changes that could happen, some serious things that could affect a lot of industries. And if we don't step up and do something about it now, it'll be too late.
I would just everybody's listening that this radio signal goes out to. You're capable of picking up your phone or going to your computer and looking at these things and thinking, well, that's they're talking what they're talking about. It's not. It's probably never going to happen. I don't know why they're even stirred up. If you'll start studying some of this, you're going to get stirred up because you're going to understand how it's going to affect. Just the last year, what was it when all of a sudden there were no groceries in the grocery stores when COVID started?
Yeah, paper towels.
Have you forgotten? Paper towels and toilet paper.
Yep.
Has anybody forgotten how vulnerable we are with just in a few days?
Yeah.
We're days away from that. I'm not a conspiracist, but I'm just telling you.
And
wake up, America.
That was a scary thing too, because you're like, oh, we are literally. I have enough in my house to survive for like a week. It's like if I needed to, or some people have they're good for like a month. It's like those little things. You start to kind of look at that from that perspective of, oh, we are not ready for anything if the worst thing happens. Yeah.
But it just goes back to the fact when we're talking about this 30-30 plan.
Yeah.
I would just invite everybody to educate yourself. Come to our meeting tomorrow night. Listen to Margaret Byfield and her presentation. You may agree, you may disagree. That's fine. I would just encourage you to be educated about what's going on.
Ask questions. That's the biggest part of this deal. And I got to say, with where we're at right now, and we're in pretty good shape here in Chaves County, the city of Roswell, and everything as far as our law enforcement stuff. But if you're looking around the country right now and you see the things that are going on with our law enforcement, it's this defund police, and you can't do this, you can't do that, and I get it. We've had some situations where there's some bad apples, as it would be out there with law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't throw a blanket out on every police officer, sheriff's deputy, state police. 95% of those guys are out there to protect you and to save you, to do their jobs. And it's just a damn shame that they're getting thrown under the bus.
The squeaky wheels get the grease, so to speak, and that's getting that bad shine.
And people are going to figure. You just out in Atlanta right now. You've got a community out there in Atlanta that's wanting to create their own law enforcement. Why in the world would would you have to force yourself to go get private security? But you have a lot of our legislators and public figures and stuff like that. Well, they're all throwing law enforcement under the bus, but you see them. They've got their own personal security walking around with them.
You're starting to see the rise of like militias, of Minutemen, of people taking their own, taking matters into their own hands, essentially.
Right, and that's not a good thing.
No, it's not. We should be in a position where we can, trust our law enforcement. Let them do the job that we are paying them to do, protecting and serving. So the meeting tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. At the Eastern Mexico State Fairgrounds. It's going to be there in the back office building, I'm assuming.
Yes.
The annex, whatever.
The new building.
The new building, catty corner from the commercial building, essentially.
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
So 7 p.m., it's absolutely open to the public. We want to invite everybody out there. Come with questions, and come with an open mind, too. The way I approach this, I was actually telling Tanner before you guys got here, is I'm going to approach this from kind of the perspective of a rube, because I am. Because I'm dumb, y'all. Like I was blessed with sort of the ability to talk kind of good, but I'm dumb. So I like to just kind of come from this perspective of educate me. Let me know where we are and how we can get to the next place we need to be.
And that's really what we're trying to do, is educate people in our county and anyone that's out.
You can say it. Dumb folks like you. You can say it.
Well,
no.
I feel like if we don't present this for people to see, so they can educate themselves, and they can make decisions about how they feel about it.
Well, knowledge and awareness are big factors in this deal, and so people need to be knowledgeable and aware of and that's one of the reasons why they've just kind of thrown this deal out there. I mean, it's that deal of throwing something on the wall to see what's going to stick, and so this still is still in their planning stages, and so they're still trying to figure out how they're going to implement this and how they're going to. But a sure shot sign of what they're planning is the fact that they've come back with this lesser prairie chicken deal again.
Right.
So they're going to use a lot of different means to take control.
I said back whenever we was dealing with the prairie chicken and lizard before, even though we got it slowed down and basically stopped, I said they're studying this. They're studying what we're doing, and they'll come back with a different plan, and it'll be harder to get around it, and they're just smart about what they do. Everybody thinks in a year and a half that things could change in these administrations. Hopefully they do.
Sure.
We need to get out and vote. We need to get out and get the right people in office to make these changes.
2022.
These people think there'll never be another change.
Right.
That they're invincible now. Yeah. And they can move forward without any obstacles.
No, there'll be plenty more opportunities.
Well, and the bad thing is that, so back in 1973 was when the Endangered Species Act was created. Almost 50 years ago, and we're still working off the same script from 50 years ago.
Right.
And there needs to be some changes to the Endangered Species Act.
Yeah, I would agree.
Time. It's changed.
The fact is that it's a blanket right now. It's basically a blanket of any species that is in danger, but we're not looking at ecosystems and the way that ecosystems are set up. Sure, it would be a tragedy if say, for example, the orca went extinct or something like that. But you look at what other species would be affected by that. If you look at for example, honeybees or just bees in general, for example, the impact that they have on our ecosystem as a whole.
Right.
It's amazing. I mean, so I think that there needs to be almost a priority system put in place. The lesser prairie chicken, sure, but bees, like there needs to be a more focus put on the more important species. I feel.
And you say that, Sean. We'll just throw the Mexican gray wolf and some of these predators in that they're wanting to reintroduce into our ranches and farms and outside areas. I mean, those guys are nothing but predators. The Mexican gray wolf. So it's kind of, why don't we reintroduce the T-Rex?
Yeah, just bring them all back.
How to figure out how to bring them back.
Jurassic Park. Let's make that happen.
Don't give them any ideas.
Yeah, they might be listening right now.
Yeah.
So 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds in the new building. If folks want more information about what you guys are all about, what you guys are doing, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, our numbers are on our website.
We're on our website.
But, you know, Bill Williams is our county manager, who I know you've seen in here, and he's doing a great job. And you know, one of the things that we do as county commissioners is that when we got constituents that are calling us about something, you know, that's Bill's job as the county manager. So typically we give it to him, and if he can't handle it, he'll find somebody who will, and then you go from there. But you know, we've got a great family that are running Chaves County, and our elected officials, Mike Harrington and Charlotte and Cindy Fuller and our commissioners and everybody. We work really well together to take care of Chaves County.
And that's one thing that I think is obvious, is that the people that we kind of have in place right now, and it's you guys work really well. It's a really well-oiled machine of I think it all comes down to communication. That departments are talking to each other, and that's vital. You know,
it is. Well, and the best thing we're out of this COVID stuff, and Commissioner Bill Berry and I sat down and had breakfast with Jim Stovall and Chuck Schmidt from the BLM, and we had a great conversation.
Exactly.
Those guys are really good guys representing us out here. They're doing their jobs. But
by the way, Bureau of Land Management, we need to clarify.
Yeah,
there's another BLM. Just for clarification.
You're right about that. Bureau of Land Management. I apologize, but they're really a couple good guys representing us, and I say representing us. I mean, they're working for the federal government, but they try and keep us informed and keep us where we know where we need to be taking a stand on stuff. So.
Yeah, communication's happening, but also listening is happening. That's the other vital thing.
That person-to-person deal is just crucial.
Absolutely.
Emails and text messages and phone calls is nothing like being person-to-person.
I was joking the other day that I literally, I'm on the board of directors for Tobosa, and last month I literally I've been there on the board for like 6 or 7 months now, but I literally met the rest of the board for the first time last month. Had our first face-to-face meeting. It's very odd. I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. Known you for months. But so it's good to kind of get back to the face-to-face aspect of things. And also, you know, meetings, you know, can happen in person, like the one tomorrow night. We want to encourage everybody to come out there tomorrow, 7 p.m. At the Eastern Mexico State Fairgrounds. Come with questions and come ready to listen, because lots of great info out there.
There'll be a lot of good information.
It will be.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate having you. And,
appreciate everything you guys do, and tell Mike not to fall off the cliff or anything out there at the canyon.
I joked with him that you're a brave man letting your wife take you out to a middle of a desert where there's plenty of places to hide a body. Like, look, I want to make it to the top of Pecos Valley Broadcasting, but not like this, man. Not like that. So thank you guys so much for your time.
You bet.
We appreciate you. 13 away from 9 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with some local news.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Roswell UFO Festival has been around for a quarter of a century. And as it prepares to welcome UFO enthusiasts and many other visitors back to town after a pandemic-forced year off, the slate of festival activities features a variety of events, including a parade, arts and crafts fair, races for runners and walkers, a pool-based dance party, outdoor movies, and an outdoor concert featuring New Mexico's own Cheval Shepherd. This year's UFO Festival will take place July 2nd through 4th, with the various activities happening at different sites throughout Roswell and a multitude of vendors that are scheduled to be part of the festivities. The festival recognizes the 1947 incident that many believe involved a UFO, with one or more not-of-this-world visitors on board, crashing on a ranch in the Roswell area. The full weekend of activities wraps up with the city's July 4th celebration on Independence Day. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A U.S. quarter has 119 grooves on its edge. A dime has one less groove. So by definition, that makes a dime less groovy. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 11 away from 9 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with that weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot again today. High pressure is still over the southwestern states, and that'll take us up to about 100 for our afternoon high today, and sunny. Clear tonight, our low dropping to about 70, and then we'll stay around 100 with sunshine tomorrow, maybe a little bit breezy in the afternoon. Back up to 100 on Friday and sunny. It looks like we'll be climbing into the low 100s for the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. 76 degrees around Roswell Way under fair skies. 45% humidity currently with winds at about 6 miles an hour coming out of the south. The barometer about 30.19 inches with a dew point of 53 degrees. It's dewy. 100 degrees for the high today under mostly sunny skies. It's going to be a scorcher. I know you're probably tired of hearing me say that. Winds out of the southeast 5 to 15 miles an hour for tonight. Mostly clear, getting down to an overnight low of about 71 degrees. Winds out of the south 5 to 15. Like I said, we've slipped into that holding pattern. 60s and 70s overnights. Late 90s and triple digits for most of the days. 99 and hot for your Thursday. Sunny and 102 for Friday. 103 for Saturday, and then another scorching 107 for the high on Sunday. Now, here's some good news. We might actually have a little bit of a chance for some respite. Not much, a little bit. We have a 20% chance of rain on Monday evening. Then again, that 20% chance of rain is going to move into your Tuesday, but it's only going to cool it down about 1 degree. So it's going to be rainy, it's going to be muggy, and it's going to be 98 degrees for the high. So, that's going to be a fun day. Let that soak in. 10 away from 9 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with your SRN Business Update.
With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander. Emirates Airlines has announced a net loss of $5.5 billion over the past year, as revenue fell by more than 66%. The airline says it's due to global travel restrictions sparked by the coronavirus pandemic. The Dubai-based airline said on Tuesday that revenue had declined by $8.4 billion. A British researcher is suggesting that 7 may be a magic number for American media consumers. That may be the limit to the number of streaming services, either paid or free, that many consumers prefer. On Wall Street, the Dow fell 94 points to 34,299. The Nasdaq down 101 to 14,072. And the S&P 500 fell 8 to 4,246. For the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
So, here we are, smack dab in the middle of Tailgate Nation with a whole summer of fun and adventure in front of us. And here at the Tailgate Nation, Roswell Ford is making it easier than ever for you to trade up during our used car extravaganza. Roswell Ford has the largest selection of pre-owned vehicles in southeastern New Mexico, with quality cars and trucks starting at just $5,000. And because demand has never been higher, your trade-in has never been worth more. So if you're upside down, this is the time for you to get back on your feet. We're talking premium, hard-to-find vehicles like Raptor, High Country, Camaro, and Charger. Each one passed a rigorous 139-point inspection. And Roswell Ford gives you a 3-day money-back guarantee so you can buy without being shy. Tailgate Nation is calling, so saddle up, partner. Let's hit the road with a fresh new ride. It's the used car extravaganza at Roswell Ford, the Tailgate Nation at the corner of 9th and Main.
You've slouched on it. You've slept on it. You've sheltered in place on it until it's worn out. Now it's time for new furniture from Glenn's. Like a breath of fresh air, Glenn's will brighten your home with beautiful new furniture you'll be proud of for years to come. And at Glenn's, everything is ready for immediate delivery. So reopen your life and refresh your home with a trip to Glenn's Furniture at the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday, to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Take your taste buds on a flavor vacation with Wiener Schnitzel's all-new chili cheese fries. There's the Cabo, piled high with chili, cheese sauce, tomatoes, onions, jalapenos, and Cholula green pepper sauce, bro. Try the Texan with bacon, barbecue sauce, and grilled onions. Oh, try the Aussie with bacon, horseradish aioli, grilled onions, and jalapenos on it. It's a trip around the world without leaving town. The all-new chili cheese fries right now at Wiener Schnitzel on North Main in Roswell, the most wanted wiener in town.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The world's oldest chewing gum dates back to at least 5,000 years. After chewing it, they stuck it at the bottom of their desk. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 6 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Coming up next hour, we're going to be sitting down with Ms. Andrea Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. Lots of stuff happening around the city of Roswell. We're gearing up for festival season, obviously, with the Alien Fest coming up in July to kick things off. And then it's just kind of full steam ahead with festival season. We were talking about earlier about the Eddy County Fair, and then the Eastern Mexico State Fair is going to roar back in, and we're cramming 2 fairs worth of fun into one. So it's going to be interesting few months. We were chatting off the air a second ago about something kind of interesting that I think that it was an interesting little conversation. We were talking about the death of the dollar, so to speak, because you're kind of doing a dive into the derivatives market.
I think that a lot of people aren't aware of it. I think that they think that the currency is just going to stay the same.
Well, it's a universal.
They don't understand money.
It's a universal thing. It's always been there. It's kind of one of those. It's like the security blanket, so to speak. It's always been an established thing. The dollar has. If you look at the basket of currencies that are used in international trading, the dollar is king, and it's one of those things that because has that establishment, it feels like it's almost too big to fail, to steal a phrase, even though I hate using that phrase, but it almost feels
if you keep printing more and more and more of it and letting people borrow more and more and more of it,
it dilutes
to the point where they can never pay it back.
It dilutes it to a point. But what I'm saying on the other side of that, to then say to turn to like a crypto for a universal currency, something that has a finite resource, that there's only a certain number of Bitcoins that can be mined.
Correct.
And then it's just trading what's there. And so it's a finite market. It's hard to wrap your head around, building your entire financial construct around a finite market.
I think if it was more one-to-one, I'd be more into it.
Try, absolutely. But
because the decimals mess me up, because I can't imagine purchasing something for decimals.
But it's
on whatever I'm purchasing.
See, that's my mindset is different.
Nobody can do math now. What makes you think they're going to do it with decimals?
My mindset is different because I figure if I'm buying one of these cryptos that's selling right now at 0.000001 and I invest $500 into it, if all of a sudden it's now trading at 0.0001, I just doubled my money.
But that's not security. That's volatility. Sure. You can double it, but you can also lose it the same way.
I'm thinking short-term gains here, brah. I ain't got them diamond hands. I'm not hodling for nothing. I'm just trying to get in and get out and go to Vegas. Throw it all on Papa's mustache.
But that's the thing is when you get to the casinos in Vegas, you'll be doing it with decimals.
Yeah, that's true.
But I guess most people don't want to think about it. But they don't, they just go, here's my credit card or here's this card, and they just pay for stuff. But that's not very financially responsible.
Well, no, it's not. But it's a scary mindset, a scary thing to think about. That's why people don't choose to think about it, because it's terrifying to think, our market could be that volatile that, a couple of meme stock, boys can come in and completely throw our market, for a loop.
And if you think that's the reason it's the problem, it's not the problem.
No, but what I'm saying is it feels like, for lack of a better term, like there was like a perfectly balanced plate on a stick, and there's like one small pebble on one side, and it's just caused this uncontrollable wobble. And it's just crazy to think that little thing can have that big of an effect on the market, which means this market is, unstable. It's just the way
that they have built it up, it is going to crash.
Yeah, it's set up on a flimsy foundation. There's no way that that it can survive if this small of an attack can weaken it this much.
They didn't use cement; they used sand. Lots of it.
Lots and lots of it.
And pretended it was cement.
Yeah.
Told everybody it was cement.
It was some good sand, but I mean, only lasts so long. We're coming up on the top of the hour, and as I mentioned, coming up next hour, we're going to be chit-chatting with Ms. Andrea Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. We'll talk more about your volatile dollar and how you can spend it on the streets of Roswell this festival season.
Well, take heart. We do have a future. We just have to find our way through the muck that people have created.
It's true. It's and more people are awake than were before, and they're more aware of, we're not just letting stuff happen. We're not just laying down.
Educate yourself on financial matters.
Like we were saying with
important.
With the commissioners, in all matters, they say do your research. You should, and don't just take one opinion or one aspect. The best advice I've ever heard is if you have an opinion about something, find someone who has an opposing viewpoint and study that and find out why they believe what they believe and see if it shakes the foundation of why you believe what you believe. That's, the best approach is, sure, you can always constantly feed yourself with like minds. Approach somebody who has a different, viewpoint. It's going to change your perspective a little bit. We got to wrap things up. You're listening to 106.5 KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Stay tuned.
No static at all. Your new home for talk radio is KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House. President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin are into the second round of their summit talks in Geneva. The U.S. and Russian leaders are meeting at a time that the relations between their countries are at an all-time low. Prior to the start of the meeting, Swiss President Guy Parmelin welcomed the two leaders to his country.
It is an honor and a pleasure for Switzerland to host you here for this summit.
The talks are expected to last 4 to 5 hours. Anti-nuclear weapons activist Beatrice Finn says she hopes during the meeting the U.S. and Russia can set an example by reducing nuclear weapons capability.
The United States and Russia still holds almost 90% of the world's nuclear arsenals. They are the biggest, and it's very easy to point at China, for example, or the United Kingdom for increasing with 40% lately. But really, these two countries will drive progress for the other countries. So if they can sort of set the tone and put pressure on other nuclear armed states as well, they can come to the table.
European Union authorities are moving a step closer to deploying the bloc's massive pandemic recovery fund. The president of the 27-nation bloc's executive commission has started a tour of EU capitals to announce the initial endorsement of national recovery spending plans. Florida Power and Light imploded the 495-foot chimney stack of its last coal-fired generating plant. Today's demolition was being described as a milestone in the utility's transition to cleaner energy sources. U.S. home construction rose 3.6% in May as builders battled a surge in lumber prices that have made homes more expensive. The Commerce Department reports the May increase left construction at a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 1.57 million units. On Wall Street, a mixed day so far. The Dow Jones Industrials are down 43, while the NASDAQ is up 30. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 3388 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 3388. Enjoy.
Indian police have registered a case against Twitter and prominent journalists for allegedly trying to spark communal tension.
Police say those who posted the clip were trying to provoke communal sentiments and maintain the attack was not anti-Muslim. Among those named in the police complaint are the reporter Rana Ayub, a well-known critic of the ruling BJP government, and the news website The Wire. In a statement, The Wire said their news story was based on accurate and truthful reports and that the police complaint was an attempt to criminalise the reporting of anything other than the official version of events.
That's BBC correspondent Rajini Vaidyanathan reporting from Delhi. France is easing mandatory mask wearing outdoors and will halt an 8-month nightly coronavirus curfew on June 20th. The announcement by the country's prime minister comes as France is now registering about 3,900 daily virus cases on average. News and analysis at townhall.com. A strong shallow undersea earthquake has shaken parts of Indonesia.
The U.S. Geological Survey says the quake was centered around 6 miles under the sea. Shallow quakes tend to cause more damage. However, the movements cracked some walls and sent panicked coastal residents in Maluku province to higher ground. Officials, however, say there's little threat of a large tsunami, although the sea level rose about 1.5 feet. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The European Union is recommending that member countries start lifting restrictions on tourists from the United States. EU members agreed today to add the U.S. to the list of countries in whose cases restrictions are non-essential travel should be lifted. The move was adopted during a meeting in Brussels of permanent representatives to the 27-nation bloc. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travelers said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres inviernos.
Of A Morning Without. Mike Winters here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope your halfway point of the work week is going smoothly. I'm trying to pull up Mike's Facebook page here so I can kind of give you the rundown of what he's been what he's been up to as he's exploring his wild oats, sowing his wild oats, so to speak, at the Grand Canyon. Yeah, just some beautiful pictures. Here, basically on the top of the world, essentially.
I love those pictures.
Show the camera. I mean, there's just some of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen. And it looks like they're right there.
He's got a lot of good weather.
Amongst the most picturesque views. And then there, close access to wildlife. I mean, just saying this. So he's having a good time. He's a young boy. He's enjoying himself and finally having some time to himself.
Boy Scouting.
And the misses. Much deserved and well earned. Hopefully he's resting up because we're going to launch it back on him when he gets back here. I'll make sure to save some stuff back. Here's this, and this. Welcome home, Mike. Coming up here in just a few minutes, going to be chatting with Miss Andrea from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. Lots of stuff happening in southeastern, or here in Roswell specifically. Festival season getting underway. Obviously, everybody's mindset on Alien Fest. Tourism returning to Roswell, so business is back up just a bit. We'll chat about that, plus the upcoming release of issue number 2 of Roswell Now magazine. That's right. It's coming. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a few minutes. Plus, we'll get you updated with your Sean Hannity update, your SRN business report, and whatever else graces our desk here. I wanted to really quickly remind you that the Eastern New Mexico University Roswell, they are holding a special event today through tomorrow, actually. It is it's to get you registered, to get you ready for the upcoming fall semester. They want to make it as easy as possible. Now that the people are kind of getting back to doing things in person, you're going to be heading back to the campus. So before you do, get registered. And you can do it today and tomorrow during the Beat the Heat registration event. It's happening through tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. there at the Student Services Center at 56 University Boulevard. Now, students who register for the fall semester during this event, they're going to receive a free snow cone and a $20 gift card for the EMU Roswell bookstore. $20 in the bookstore. You can buy yourself like a pen. The students are encouraged to apply for admission prior to the event. The admissions application is available online at roswell.enmu.edu. Fall classes start August 16th, so get signed up, and now is a great time to do it during Beat the Heat registration days at EMU Roswell. For more information, call Advising Services at 624-7294 or just call the main campus at 624-7000. 9 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with that weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot again today. High pressure is still over the southwestern states, and that'll take us up to about 100 for our afternoon high today, and sunny. Clear tonight, our low dropping to about 70, and then we'll stay around 100 with sunshine tomorrow, maybe a little bit breezy in the afternoon. Back up to 100 on Friday and sunny. It looks like we'll be climbing into the low 100s for the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 81 degrees, humidity about 41%. Winds picking up just a bit out of the south at about 14 miles an hour. The barometer about 30.19 inches if you need that info. Looking for a high of 100 degrees for your Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies. Winds calm at about 5 to 15 miles an hour for tonight. Pretty much the same thing when the sun goes down. Cooler, 71 degrees. But when the sun comes back up, you know the drill. 99 for the high tomorrow. Winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. 102 for the high on Friday. 103 for Saturday. 107 degrees for the high on Sunday. The good news, a potential chance for some cool down next week with a 20% chance of rain Monday night into your Tuesday morning. All right, 10 minutes after 9 o'clock. Going to pause, pay a couple of these bills. And after these, sitting down with Miss Andrea Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
You may have heard of SmartHub. SmartHub is Central Valley Electric's online tool for members to manage their electric account. With SmartHub, not only can you securely pay your bill online, you can view your detailed electric use 24 hours a day. You can report an outage while staying up to date with the latest co-op news, compare past and current electric use. Sign up for paperless billing or reoccurring payment so that your payment is never late. The best thing is you can access SmartHub from your computer, tablet, or smartphone, so it goes everywhere you go. Visit cvecoop.org to get started or give us a call.
As the school year comes to an end and COVID restrictions start to ease, don't lose sight of the lessons learned. Cover your cough, positive personal hygiene, respect one another, show and tell others you love them. Fiscal and social responsibility are great ways to show your love. This is Damon Graham, your local New York Life agent. I can help you show your love to others. Call me at 575-623-0803 so we can determine how you best can show your love. Expect to be blessed.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Bamboo plants can grow up to 36 inches in a day. So if you're told you're growing like a weed, you can say, "No, I'm growing like a bamboo." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 12 minutes after 9 o'clock. Joining us in studio this morning, me in studio this morning, is Miss Andrea Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. How are you doing this morning?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me, as always.
Hey,
I always enjoy coming up here.
Thanks for being here. You have been quite the busy young lady. It seems like you're everywhere. First of all, I feel like maybe you're following Pecos Valley Broadcasting because you're everywhere we are. I ran into you at the 9/11 Memorial last week, but you're constantly on the go. I mean, the chamber is moving, moving and shaking. Businesses are opening back up, and you're guns blazing, moving forward.
Absolutely. Well, that's just how I am in general. And so when I came in over at the chamber, why would it be any different?
Sure,
and now that we're starting to open, we're definitely going to be doing a heck of a lot more. So, for example, tomorrow, Thursday, is going to be a huge day. Of course, I start off by going and giving my monthly presentation over to County Commission. Then our Redcoats are going to have their monthly meeting so we can all start getting back together, making sure our calendars are synced up. They know what's coming ahead. And then tomorrow night, is business after hours at Pasta Cafe.
No.
Yes. They're not officially open quite yet, but they are
You literally just gave me goosebumps.
Yes,
Wow.
Be there or be square. It is definitely one of the best parties of the year when Cattle Baron, any of the Cattle Baron restaurants. So it's always a good time.
Sure.
It's at Pasta Cafe tomorrow night, 5:30 to 7. We'll officially start giving away prizes and everything about 5:45 because, of course, we want, 5:45, 6 o'clock because we want everybody to have time to come in and mingle, knowing that's always one of the bigger ones. It's kind of like Richland or Crumlin Auto Group doing theirs. You just know that some of these businesses, just because they have a bigger area to fit more people, so we try to give a little bit more time for that networking.
Sure.
And so Pasta Cafe. And then the following Thursday, we have Keller Williams. It is also a ribbon cutting. We've got, oh my gosh, Friday, then the day after tomorrow, I've got to read my notes that my staff has prepared because otherwise I get everything jumbled up.
I got to get me a staff.
It's awesome.
I got to get me one of those.
I love having people.
I'm telling
and people that actually kind of listen because children don't listen.
Yeah, that's the problem. I have a 2 and a 7-year-old. And they don't.
Yeah, I have 18, 15, 11, or 12 and 11, and their eyes just glaze over and they're like, whatever. So I like having people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Friday, we are having a ribbon cutting and estate sale over at General Murray's for the gold mine estate sales and appraisals.
Oh.
So as I don't know if everybody knows, but General Murray is retiring from New Mexico Military Institute.
Okay.
And he's got a ton of stuff that he just doesn't want to go move when he moves. So he's having an estate sale.
Okay.
So come Friday, we'll have everything posted online on our social media as well, so you can have the exact addresses for this stuff. And then next Thursday, like I said, is Keller Williams Business After Hours. So the next 2 Thursdays are chock full of good things. And then next week on Tuesday, we are having the Citizen of the Year reception at the Chamber of Commerce, and we are highlighting Barry Foster and Larry Hobson.
There you go.
They have received the Citizen of the Year awards for the last 2 years. Obviously, last year was COVID, so nobody did anything. So why not come out of lockdown, out of COVID, and have a huge party?
I like it.
So over at the Chamber of Commerce, 5:30 to 7, it's come and go reception, or you can come hang out. We'll have light refreshments and adult drinks.
Every time and this is from childhood. Every time I hear refreshments, I always think of 2 things: watered down Kool-Aid and generic sandwich cookies.
Oh my gosh!
Because those were the 2 things that were served at church.
Yes.
At like Vacation Bible School. So whenever I hear refreshments, that's always where my mind goes.
Oh, no. Ours are a couple steps higher.
Sure, you guys
up.
step it up a notch.
We've got it. So we've partnered with the Realtors Association, who does the Citizen of the Year award every year. And they're going to be providing all of the refreshments and stuff. We are busy putting up lights in the back. And so it'll be both in the boardroom as well as out in our back patio. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's at 5:30 to 7. So the sun will be going down. It'll start cooling down. So being outside won't be horrendous like it was last week in Artesia for the mobile 911 memorial.
I don't know what y'all were talking about. My trailer had air conditioning. I was comfy.
Well, the day before, when we were lining everybody up on the walkway to kind of see them off to go to Artesia from Chaves County, I think we all kind of got a little bit of heat stroke because it was 111 officially what I saw. But when we got in our cars, Liz and I were like, our temperature gauge is set 113.
Goodness gracious.
So we went to the chamber, we cooled down, and I said, this is for the birds. Everybody go home. We can forward the phones to our cell phones. Everybody has a computer, go home. And if I could figure out a way to have electronics be water friendly, we would be having chamber stuff over at my house in the pool. Because it is entirely too hot.
We're holding our meeting this month at the Aquatic Center. In the lap pool, in the deep end of the lap pool. It has been devastating. I was actually driving to Artesia during the opening ceremonies. I was listening to it on the radio, and you could hear they were rushing through things because everybody was just uncomfortable.
Oh, it was, and they even had a tent.
Sure.
With fans, huge industrial fans, and it was still really warm.
Yeah, it was just blowing hot air at that point.
But that was an awesome event. We had worked with everybody down in Artesia because obviously they had to come through Chaves County and Roswell, so we were more than happy. We provided over 1,000 bags and flags to pass out. So the goodie bags that you got down there in Artesia were donated by us, and we were more than happy to do that.
Awesome.
Then yesterday, I've got my nice little Yeti water bottle. Avex had their opening because Avex has bought out Mystic. So
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to be able to offer some more things. And of course, in their presentations, they're kind of vague.
You got to be when you're in that industry.
Exactly. So it was pretty cool to hear what they do. And they said, sorry, we can't give you more details. But for obvious reasons, they, contract with the government and other entities. And so they said, we can give you some stuff, but mostly we customize what we do depending on who wants what we've got. They had a awesome drone that can go and map. So if I'm guessing, like my mind goes to if you're a military operation, I can see how it would be mapping towns,
sure,
or where you think the other side is, so you can kind of figure out what your game plan is.
Right.
But then ranchers, for example, like my dad who has a huge ranch, I can see how that application would be nice.
Property lines to know exactly where yours.
So you can, and to find out, where's your livestock or just what is your land looking like, and then you don't necessarily have to go out there because like where my dad's ranch is up in Arabella, so there's a lot of hills and mountains and stuff, and it's not always easy to get to everything, get to all your property. So I can see how like the drone would be really cool. They've got a plane that they have modified with larger windows and things like that. So it was really cool.
So they deal with a lot of the same things that Mystic was dealing with before. A lot of the
absolutely,
and that's something that's it absolutely needs to be paid attention to, because if you look at a lot of the advancements in consumer technology over the last 30 years, it's most of it is military based or military grade. It's those things that came out of military innovation. They've just sort of made their way into mainstream society. So the innovations of today for the military are the innovations for tomorrow for consumers.
Yeah, and it was really cool. And then, of course, we got to get in the vans, and they took us on
the ride.
Right. And, of course, Liz and I are laughing because we're like, that wasn't fast enough. That wasn't scary enough. Come on, let's do it again. Faster, scarier. But, we had to also understand that they were trying to get quite a few of us through there. And so it was the experience. But it's really cool to go in there because it had been a while since I had been over there. But it's really cool to see all of that stuff.
In fairness, it's also hard to surprise and to thrill Thelma and Louise. So
exactly.
when you guys have pushed the throttle to the max, it's sort of hard to hard to excite the heart again. So, but yeah, so just busy times. And one of the things that I'm noticing, and this is sort of the ultimate we're sort of back thing, is tourism in Roswell.
Oh my gosh.
They're everywhere.
It has been so busy. I have once again stopped going down Main Street in Second because it is just packed and I am loving it.
Absolutely.
And it has
people with their cameras out. And
it's been packed. I want to say really, it started to pick up around spring break, but definitely you can tell everything's opening up, and not just obviously with us, because we have lived in our nice little Chaves County bubble that we've pushed back kind of the entire time. But as the rest of the country is starting to open up, we're starting to see more and more people, because when you see Second and Main and all four corners are just packed with people ready to cross the street, you know that life is getting back to normal.
That's the best sign that we're so. And you brought up a great point, because I don't think we actually fully experienced it here in Chaves. We did, because we didn't have the movie theaters, we didn't have the gyms, didn't have our churches and stuff. So we had those things, but for the most part, businesses were still doing what they do. We have industries in southeastern New Mexico that could not shut down.
Absolutely,
we are the essentials. So it was sort of business as usual throughout the whole thing. But large swaths of the country are literally just blinking out of their apartments for the first time in over a year.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
It is.
My cousins came down from Colorado, and they had told me that they got really hit hard up in Denver. And for us to be swapping stories, and I'm like, that is not the experience we had for the last year and a half. So yeah, it's amazing to see how well cushioned we were in our nice little bubble. And then, of course, we've got our magazine that's getting ready. Issue 2.
Issue number 2. We made it through the first one.
That's right. And we've made it through issue 2. Thank you, Brian. I know he's listening right now. He has had a couple of late nights the last few nights because we are down to the wire. We will be submitting the end of this week. So, because our game plan is to have everything in everybody's mailboxes by the first week of July. So by UFO Festival. And of course, our Citizens of the Year are going to be highlighted.
Nice.
We are highlighting the valedictorians.
Excellent.
From all of Chaves County. So not just the high schools that are here in Roswell, but like Arthur, Hagerman, Dexter.
Awesome.
We are getting everybody in there because why not?
Yeah.
You know, these kids have busted their rear ends to go and get the valedictorian status. Let's highlight them. And that's what we're here for is at the Chaves County or at the Roswell Chamber of Commerce.
In any other normal year, that's an amazing accomplishment to be the top of your class. But in a year or 2 years where education was turned on its ear, I mean, on its head, to be the best in that realm, that's
exactly
amazing.
And for them to not have given up because I have heard story after story of kids that just, you know, isn't it amazing? They got too much screen time in this last year and a half, and they just said, no, we're done. This is for the birds. It's not worth it.
Right.
I've seen the statistics statewide that, you know, how many thousands of students just went missing altogether and never even logged in day one, much less kept through it. So we are highlighting our valedictorians. And then, of course, we're bringing back some of the stuff that we had in the first issue. For example, Liz Taylor is taking over Elizabeth's favorite things. So, you know, local vendors, people that do local things. So once again, here's a call to everybody in Chaves County. If you are a home-based business or you have something that's a little bit unique, and it doesn't have to just be Roswell. It is Chaves County. If you live within the borders of Chaves County and you have a cute, cool little business, contact us. We'd love to highlight you.
Absolutely.
That is the point of the Roswell Chamber of Commerce, is to help get the word out on what you do. And of course, you know, we are working with a lot of the other businesses to help find employers, you know, put employers and employees together because as we all know, it is, once again, I roll when I say this, but it's all over the country. It is hard for people to find workers.
Right.
And businesses are finding it difficult to find workers. And so the people that are out there working now, of course, you want those people because they're working. But in order to open Pasta Cafe or for Peppers to stay open or even just the little shop on Main Street, you need to have employees. So once again, if you are wanting a job, they're out there.
Absolutely,
so if you don't have a job right now, it's totally on yourself.
100%. Yeah. Now, granted, there's a lot of folks out there who have been who use the pandemic or use the layoffs, use the furloughing to pursue other things, to maybe pursue a dream. They're going back to school. They're changing their careers, you know, and I've seen a lot of that. It's been really inspiring. But one thing you touched on back there is a lot of the home-based, just in the pandemic, I think a lot of people were kind of maybe utilizing their hobbies and kind of finding out how they can make businesses out of that.
Exactly. And we want to highlight those people because obviously it's easy to find the cute little businesses when you drive down all the side streets in town and around the county. But if you're a home-based business and you don't have a big sign outside that says, hey, I'm ABC Cookie Maker, I don't know that you exist. But if you want to have more exposure, if you want to grow your business, call us at the Chamber. We're more than happy to get that information out for you.
Absolutely. That's what they do. They're all about commerce. So, you know, busy season, lots of things happening. How have things been as far as new businesses go at the Chamber? Every day we're getting at least one new business. Wow. It seems like, and of course, over the course of the last few years, we had dropped in membership, but a lot of those dropped members are coming back now as well. And excellent. I give a kudos to Liz Taylor for all of her hard work by contacting them and saying, hey, we're still here. And, you know, maybe sometimes we have to get an earful of broken promises or things that just they didn't like. And okay, that's fine. We're all big girls and boys over there at the Chamber and thick skin. So here, you know, it's not my fault. Right.
but we'll fix it. And then we talk to all of our members and say, here is our basic membership plan for the different levels, but we're willing to customize.
Sure.
And so if there's something that we offer in the basic, in whatever the plan is that you want, and you go, yeah, but that's not really something I need. I'd really like to utilize, for example, your boardroom a little more often. Okay, well, let's kind of change that membership. So it is more bang for your buck.
It's not all concrete set in stone.
Exactly.
You guys are willing to kind of dance and move, to the needs of a business.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I think we've all learned through this COVID, through the pandemic, is we all have to be more flexible.
Sure, absolutely.
And it does get uncomfortable sometimes when you have to be flexible, but you do it, and our members have really appreciated it, because more than ever, that dollar that they're going to spend with us is more valuable than it ever has before, because if they're going to come and buy a membership and be a member at the chamber, they really could be using that to either reinvest in their business or go do something else, and they're choosing to come to us. So we are really trying to work with each member and say, how can we be the best for you? What can we do for you? And I ask them that all the time. What can I do for you? This is what my vision is. This is what I'd like to do. But if that's not what it is, if that doesn't work for you, tell me.
Yeah.
We'll change it. It's not a big deal.
Right. You touched on something vital right back there is I deal with the same thing in advertising. You have big companies that have whole budgets and they just have, spots. They just have a commercial that needs to air. But the $200 that a mom and pop shop spends, that's $200 out of their cash registers.
Exactly.
That those dollars mean so much more to them, which is why they want more bang for their buck.
Yeah, and our phone is starting to ring more. In fact, yesterday I want to say we got about 4 different phone calls from people either in California or New York that are coming for the UFO Festival, and they wanted not only information on the UFO Festival, so of course we said UFO Festival, Alien Fest. We're explaining at the chamber the best way we have found to explain to people outside of the community is it's one big event, but it's 2 events. And so we've told them, go to both places, participate in both, because they are uniquely different, but they're also kind of the same.
Sure.
They overlap and fit the needs. And so people have been very thankful to that. Of course, giving hotel information, restaurant information, and then things that branch out from the UFO Festival. We're making sure to tell them, call Amy and the crew over there at the Historical Museum.
Yeah.
They would love to give you a tour. Don't forget to go to the art museums. Don't forget to go to all of these awesome places, Bottomless Lakes, Bitter Lakes.
Yeah.
We've got so much really cool stuff. So stop rolling your eyes that we have aliens. Bring them.
Yeah.
If they're coming for the aliens, then it is our duty, not only as the chamber, but I think as the citizens in Chaves County and Roswell. Okay, you came for the aliens. Awesome.
Yep.
I love it. Now, here is everything else that we have to offer, because we are so much more than that. And, let the UFO Museum pull them in.
Yeah.
Now, let's grab them and show them, go down Main Street, hit all of those shops. But now, go to Virginia, go to Richardson, go up north, go down south. Here's all of these other awesome things. Walker Air Force Museum down at the airport. Once again, I don't think they're quite open yet.
They're doing tours from what I understand.
But I was going to say, you can call them and they'll do a tour for you. That's the same thing with Amy and the crew over there at the Historical Museum. They're not technically open, but if you call and say, hey, I want to come and check it out, they are more than happy to accommodate you.
Absolutely they will. And you tapped on it right there, that we are surrounded by just awesome activities, awesome things to do. It's not just the reason they came. I always think back to Hike It, Spike It, because for many years I was super involved with Hike It, Spike It. And for that weekend, for that Memorial Day weekend, just to see the population of the city of Roswell double.
Yes.
It's insane. And we always try to do a good job of, pointing out that, hey, there's other area businesses. We would run Hike It, Spike It ads that say, while you're here, head over here, check this out, and explore the world around us, because we've got a lot of cool stuff.
Yep, and that's our duty. In fact, I've been known to go to Subway to go grab a sandwich, and you go out the other door and sit on the corner for a second. You see everybody with their neon badges from the museum, and I go, hey, where are you from? Oh, okay. Now you want something else to do. Hey, well, if you go down here, down the street, and you go over here, here's some stuff. Oh, you have little kids. Hey, go check out this place. Go check out that place.
Right.
Now that we've got both, I don't think the second splash pad is open
Not quite yet. They're shooting they want to have it open hopefully before July.
That's what
July
I
4th.
had thought that the mayor had said the other day. But the one down there by the Boys and Girls Club, once again, out of towners, it's something to stop by. It costs nothing.
Yep.
Go, put your feet in there, get your kids cooled off, and then come back into town and go see everything else. It's, we've got to do a better job of pointing out all of these things. And I get so unnerved when people go, well, there's nothing to do in Roswell.
Right.
If you're bored, once again, that is on you. You're bored because you want to be bored. There are so many things to go do in this town.
Absolutely there are. And, a great place to see many of those, to have access to that information, to find out more about our community is that magazine, with the new issue coming out. I got to tell you, it's a lot of pressure off my shoulders to have the new issue coming out. My article's not going to be kind of, there anymore. Because I'll be out, I was out at the Splash, it was the Aquatic Center the other day. My kids were fussing as we were trying to leave. And my son, first of all, they need to put better acoustics at the Aquatic Center, because when you're walking down that long hallway from the lap pool to the main every voice echoes so terribly. So my son's crying and screaming, and I'm just feeling like the eyes of everybody like, that's the dad from the magazine. He can't handle his kids. It's like, yeah, I can't wait for issue number 2 to come out.
No, everybody's looking at you going, your kids are normal. We feel your pain. It's kind of like that meme I keep seeing from Hunger Games. Ooh.
Yeah.
We feel your pain.
I volunteer as tribute, but yeah, it's been fun. But we're getting into the busy season. Festival season coming up, like you said, Alien Fest and UFO Festival. Folks coming back. You guys are going to have a pretty big presence in those places, I'm assuming.
We're not going to have a booth per se, but we'll be around. We'll be walking around because like I said, provided that the post office works according to plan, we'll have a stack of our new magazines, and we'll be able to pass them out and just kind of be that helping hand to everybody that's out there, so we can kind of direct everybody. Because of course, events are going to be all over town. Instead of just on that Main Street corridor, like they have been in years past.
Yeah, because I mean, I've as we were talking with with the mayor the other day, a lot of what is going to be set up is going to be set up at DeBremen, at the courthouse lawn and all over the place. So it's going to be pretty spread out.
Yes.
And you look forward to fair season, to Chili Cheese Festival is coming up.
Oh my gosh, exactly! I am so excited for everything.
Just to get back to normal. I keep saying we're cramming 2 years worth of stuff into this 1 year.
Yeah, we've been talking with Leprino. They're hoping that their corporate will allow them to lift some regulations so there can be the cheese part of the Chili Cheese Festival as well, because of course that's always so much fun to go tour Leprino and see how all that works, and then sometimes you get some cheese at the end.
Not too shabby, right?
That's right.
Absolutely. So obviously busy season, lots of new businesses coming to town, lots of new interest coming to town. If folks want to learn more about what you guys do, about the chamber, if maybe they want to get their business featured, how do they reach out to you?
Well, you can call us at 575-623-5695, 575-623-5695, or our website is roswellnm.org. And of course, we have a Facebook page. We are definitely more active on the Facebook page and with calls. But, if you see us walking around town, Liz or I or Brian, come holler at us. Come in. We are open. We are open to the public from 10 to 4, Monday through Friday. But we are in the office from 9 to 5.
Gotcha.
So if you see a car outside in the parking lot and the door's locked, knock on the door, because sometimes if there's just one of us in the office, we will lock the door for safety reasons. So just knock on the door and we'll come get you. If there's a car in the parking lot, like I said, come talk to us and, tell me. I keep telling everybody since August, and I can hardly believe it's been almost a year.
It's insane.
Tell me, what are we doing good? What are we doing bad? Because, we all like to hear what we're doing awesome. But I'm telling you, if you people know who my parents are, I am okay with criticism. You can come and say anything to me. I'm a big girl. I've got thick skin. I don't take anything personally.
This is how we learn. We're not going to get better unless people tell us, what are we doing wrong? What can we fix?
Exactly.
Let's
because
mold this
the chamber is about the community. And without the community, we don't exist. So tell me what we can do for you. Otherwise, we're kind of like politicians. We're going to do whatever we want. And then you guys are going to get mad because I'm doing what I want and not what you want. But if you come tell me, or the staff, of course, we've got awesome board members. Mike Winters is one of our board members.
Absolutely.
Come tell us. If you, for whatever reason, you don't feel comfortable, because that has been something that has been told to me, is that people didn't feel like they could go and approach the staff or the board. I promise you, every one of our board members, every one of us on staff, you can come talk to any one of us at any time.
Excellent. There you go. 623-5695, roswellnm.org. See, I didn't write it down. I noticed you were like, he's not writing it down. I listen.
No, it's good. And then, of course, Facebook.
Absolutely.
Roswell Chamber of Commerce on Facebook.
There you go. Businesses all over the place. The assistance that the chamber provides, it's way more than...
we can do grant writing. We can help you do a resume. We can help you apply for the different... small business loans and COVID relief that's out there, and we can do it because we've done it ourselves.
Right.
So we've got practice. Oh, one thing I wanted to tell everybody too.
Sure.
We are offering a business after hours every Thursday through August. So June, July, and August.
Okay.
As our, hey, we're open. We don't have to be in our homes anymore. So, and those Thursdays are starting to fill up. So if you are a business that wants to have a business after hours, let us know. And then going into September, starting back in September, we're going to go back to the 2 business after hours a month.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So there you go. The chamber's moving and a shaking.
We're trying.
If you guys want to be a part of it, now's the time when everything's starting to open back up. This is the time to jump back in with both feet.
Yes, because I get in trouble when I get bored and not busy. So please keep us busy.
Well, Miss Andrew, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate having you here.
Thank you for having me.
And by the way, I got to hit you up for some more eggs pretty soon. I have a friend who's been giving me some eggs, and I appreciate it. Their eggs are awesome. Ungodly orange yolks coming out of the eggs that you guys are.
Yeah, come on.
Out.
Bring it. And we did. So,
Instagram-worthy yolks.
Well, so I will have to let you know we did have to purge some eggs.
Okay.
I had some children that were not doing their jobs, and I got a little traumatized because when my omelet smiles back at me, I get a little traumatized. So I did have to purge a bunch because I got about 8 eggs out of a dozen that were smiling at me one day. And I said, we're done. We're going to start all over.
It only takes one.
Yeah.
You had 8. It only takes one.
Oh, my gosh. I'm telling you, I freaked out. And then a girlfriend of mine goes, yeah, I had the same problem. I was like, well, we've since taken care of it.
Mine's at ease. But
so I now pay my children per egg that is collected. And I talk to them all the time. How many eggs today? Prove it. Show me.
There you go.
And so now... that doesn't mean that you'll never get one that smiles back, because we do have roosters, but it definitely decreases that.
Now that you've incentivized the employees to do a better job.
Yeah, and we are hatching some babies because the kids had said, well, we want to see baby chicks. So we have 10 baby chicks that are a week old. We have some eggs that we're still incubating. So we'll see in the next few days if we get more. And of course, they're like, can we sell those for extra income? Yeah. So my kids, once again, have started their own business, and I'm happy to help. We usually do have eggs over at the chamber, so just call me, and that goes for the rest of the world.
There you go.
They're $4 a dozen.
And literally the best eggs I've had.
Oh, they're delicious.
Fantastic. Miss Andrea, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate having you. 18 away from 10 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with that local news.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Roswell UFO Festival has been around for a quarter of a century. And as it prepares to welcome UFO enthusiasts and many other visitors back to town after a pandemic-forced year off, the slate of festival activities features a variety of events, including a parade, arts and crafts fair, races for runners and walkers, a pool-based dance party, outdoor movies, and an outdoor concert featuring New Mexico's own Cheval Shepherd. This year's UFO Festival will take place July 2nd through 4th, with the various activities happening at different sites throughout Roswell and a multitude of vendors that are scheduled to be part of the festivities. The festival recognizes the 1947 incident that many believe involved a UFO, with one or more not-of-this-world visitors on board, crashing on a ranch in the Roswell area. The full weekend of activities wraps up with the city's July 4th celebration on Independence Day. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
The truth and nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Joe Biden was supposed to start his NATO press conference yesterday at 6:50 Brussels time. He was late, and he wasn't like 15 or 30 minutes late. He was 2.5 hours late. Apparently out of commission. Well, what happened? The White House isn't saying. Was he jet lagged? Was he tired? Did he fall asleep? Was he too groggy? Was he incoherent? You know, did you need to get a little Adderall, caffeine into the guys to get him up to speed? Throw a bucket of ice in his, in his bath or something to wake him up? What the hell happened? The leader of the free world goes missing a full 150 minutes yesterday, and the White House won't even attempt to explain why.
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Since 1964, Hustler Turf has been engineering and making the original zero-turn lawnmowers right here in the USA with U.S. and global parts. Professional landscapers and homeowners rely on Hustler's trademark smooth track steering, their durable welded steel decks, and their premium reinforced seats that provide a superior ride and ultra comfort. Once you drive a Hustler, you'll immediately feel the difference. And let me tell you something else, you'll actually look forward to mowing your grass. These top-of-the-line mowers allow you to mow faster and more efficiently. For professionals, that means more money in your pocket. For homeowners, that means spending more time with your family. If something should ever happen to your Hustler mower, or you simply need a replacement part like a new blade, help is never far away with Hustler's gigantic network of over 1,000 dealers nationwide. Visit hustlerturf.com to find one near you. That's HUSTLER turf.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. More than 50% of Americans fall asleep on their sides. That's way better than falling asleep on someone else's side. Here's Mike Winters.
No, it's not. You ever done it? Fall asleep on somebody else's side? It's great. It's like memory foam. You put your hand in. Anyways, 14 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with that weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty hot again today. High pressure is still over the southwestern states, and that'll take us up to about 100 for our afternoon high today, and sunny. Clear tonight, our low dropping to about 70, and then we'll stay around 100 with sunshine tomorrow, maybe a little bit breezy in the afternoon. Back up to 100 on Friday and sunny. It looks like we'll be climbing into the low 100s for the weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, let me get this here thing up-to-dated. 81 degrees around Roswell Way with 41% humidity. Wind speeds out of the south at about 14 miles an hour with a barometer at about 30.19 inches and a dew point of about 55 degrees. I don't know why I said about, of exactly 55 degrees. Mostly sunny skies, hot 100 for the high today. Triple digits pretty much ruling throughout the rest of several days ahead. 99 for the high tomorrow under mostly sunny skies. Not a lot of chances for precipitation, at least not until next week. Hot and 102 for your Friday, 103 for Saturday, and 107 for the high on Sunday. Chances are we're probably going to, because the day that Miss Andrea was talking about it being 111, I'm pretty sure that day we were forecasted at 105. So one's going to imagine that if we're forecasted at 107, we're probably going to crack into 112, 113 at some point during the day. Just bear that in mind. But the good news, a slight chance for some rain. I say ever so slight chance. 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms for your Monday evening. Partly cloudy. Overnight low of 70, but it's only going to cool down 1 degree for your Tuesday. 98 degrees with a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, mostly sunny and hot for your Tuesday and beyond. 12 away from 10 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with that business report.
With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Rich Thomason.
Wall Street mixed at mid-morning. Traders awaiting the Federal Reserve's latest policy statement. It could give an indication of where interest rates are headed as inflation makes a comeback after a long absence. General Motors will raise spending on electric and autonomous vehicles and add 2 U.S. battery factories as it gambles that consumers will eagerly switch from gasoline to the new technology. The announcement comes as crosstown rival Ford says its entire Lincoln luxury brand lineup will be electric or gas-electric hybrid by the year 2030, and that includes 4 fully electric vehicles. British consumer prices rose more than expected last month. Fuel and clothing costs surged following the easing of COVID restrictions. Inflation accelerated to 2.1% in the 12 months through May, up from 1.5% in April. With business, I'm Rich Thomason.
We serve all New Mexico. If you think it's hard to take out a home loan, those rumors are wrong. It's not true. Contact Loan Officer Elliot Rodriguez, MLS number 41002 at CMG Financial, phone number 719-237-4680. At CMG Financial, we can help. Experience extraordinary with CMG Financial, every customer, every time, no exceptions, no excuses. CMG Financial is a registered trade name of CMG Mortgage Incorporated, MLS 1820. CMG Mortgage Incorporated is equal opportunity lender. To verify complete list of state license, visit www.mlsconsumersaccess.org.
Equal fair housing is the right for everyone to have access to all housing opportunities without discrimination based on race, religion, national origin, sex, color, familial status, or disability.
Customizable office equipment is one stop away at PTS Office Systems. Of course, you and the business next door do different things, so you need different office equipment. PTS Office Systems has fully customizable office equipment in stock, waiting to be delivered to your business. Get fully customized office equipment to meet your office's specific needs. The day and age of one-size-fits-all office equipment is gone. Shop around at PTS Office Systems today at 217 North Main in downtown Roswell.
If you have a student who's ready to further their education, think Eastern New Mexico University first. The state of New Mexico, through the Lottery Scholarship Program, will pay 100% of your students' tuition if you are a New Mexico resident. Don't miss out on this great opportunity to further your students' higher education at the only 4-year university on the High Plains. For more information, visit enmu.edu. Explore, experience, excel. Eastern New Mexico University.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 9 minutes away from 10 o'clock. It always reminds me of the truck on top of that flagpole. In Oklahoma City, there is a Peterbilt dealership where you can actually go and purchase, Peterbilt trucks, semi-trucks, basically. And at this Peterbilt dealership, there's a pole that has a semi-truck on top of the pole. It acts as the sign. It's not like a full-size semi-truck, but it's like a to-scale model of a semi-truck. And it's notable because when the sun goes down, they turn the headlights on the truck. That's oops, I thought I had you on. Oh, I had 4 on. Yeah, so it's a semi-truck, yes, but when the sun goes down, they turn the headlights on, and it's you can see the headlights beaming across.
That's cool, though.
So it's every time I hear that truck on that flagpole, I've seen it. It exists, man. 9 minutes away from 10 o'clock, wrapping things up here on a Wednesday morning. Of course, if you missed any portion of the program today, you can always go back and check it out in its entirety at ksvptv.com. Just click on the Mornings with Mike Winters tab, and you'll have access to this show as well as previous editions of Mornings with Mike Winters, in case you need yourself a Mikey fix. In the 7 o'clock hour, we actually just jawed a little bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, we were joined by County Commissioners Jeff Bilberry and Will Cavan, chatting all about the 30-30 plan and kind of the efforts that they're making to counteract that. Of course, the commission meeting tomorrow morning, and then the open to the public meeting tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. at the Eastern New Mexico State Fairgrounds. They're in the new building. A lot of interesting information going to be discussed. We want to make sure to have each and every one of you out there for that. It's going to be a full evening for you, too, because, well, there's lots of stuff happening because Business After Hours is happening tomorrow, too, at Pasta Cafe. That's huge because that means we're getting...
When y'all mentioned that made me hungry.
We're getting real close. I have pined for Pasta Cafe. There's other pasta options in Roswell. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
Just not the same. I have... my go-to at Pasta Cafe is the Frutti di Mare. It is fettuccine style pasta with like a white wine cream sauce on top. But for the protein it's various seafood. So like shrimp, mussels actually still in the shell, which I think is really, it's a cool feature, cool little side thing. Scallops, a couple other things, but it's a seafood medley and pasta. It's all things. It's perfect. It's great. Do you have a go-to?
No, just spaghetti.
just try random things. Although I haven't
been there in a while.
Yeah, it's well, nobody has because it's been closed. But I'm also a huge piccata fan too. I like capers. I like a good caper. Now, this is where myself and kids' mom used to argue because I like veal. I'm a sucker for veal. You ever had veal?
Maybe once.
It's chef's kiss good. It's kind of a controversial meat because of how veal is made. It's basically you take young calves that have never actually walked and they keep them small and not walking. It basically keeps their bones. It makes the meat more tender. Is the ultimate goal of the process.
So weird that somebody figured that out, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've figured out a lot of weird things, but
keep them small.
But it makes it so good. So yeah, it's not exactly the most humane thing, way to get your meat, but boy, is it good.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any humane way to get meat.
Yeah, that's actually a George Lopez joke. Were these chickens humanely killed? Yeah, we pet it to death. Sure you did. We showed it its favorite movie before we took its head off. Yeah, there's either way, slaughter. I mean, now I will say, have you ever tried the Impossible meat?
The Impossible Whopper?
Yeah, like the Impossible Whopper, any of the Impossible Burgers or anything like that?
I don't believe I have.
What I want to do eventually, I don't know if because of how the morning show and their timing lines up, I eventually want to do a side-by-side taste test right here on the morning show.
That'd be fun.
Regular Whopper and an Impossible. Blind, just to see if we can tell the difference.
Maybe I have once.
I would reckon we could. But see, the thing is with the Whopper is so much of its flavor isn't from the meat. It's granted the flame broiled aspect of it.
It's the flame broiled.
And also the toppings that they use are fresher. Yeah. The onions they use are fresher and things like that. So that's sort of what it's always, it's the flame broiling, and you can manufacture that flame broiled flavor essentially just cooking the Impossible Burger in that same method.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if there would be a marked difference, or if their beef makes that much of a difference.
I'd like to see you try it.
I'd love to be the one to try it. So let's see if we can get our sales folks on that one. That would be fantastic. Hey, just a reminder. Coming up tomorrow evening, the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, they're going to be holding a roundtable forum. And this is really interesting because this is bringing up a very important topic here in Roswell and Chaves County, and that's that legalization is coming. Recreational legalization was passed on a statewide level earlier this year during a special session, so that means recreational cannabis is going to be a thing in our communities. So before it gets here, before things start to go into overdrive, so to speak, get a good base knowledge. And you can do that with this roundtable forum happening tomorrow evening, Cannabis in Our Community. The roundtable is going to feature several guest speakers that are approaching this whole thing from a lot of different perspectives and different angles, including Senator Cliff Purtle. You're going to have Sheriff Mike Harrington's going to be there, Mayor Dennis Kintai, as well as representatives from the Great House family there with Pecos Valley Productions.
Just sounds like it should be.
Yeah.
We should be getting representatives from multiple places, and we need to sit down and have a discussion about it.
And that's what it comes down to, is it has to come from all these different facets, because there's the legal side of things, there's the legislative side of things, there's the business side of things, and how growers as well as
how it
point
will
of sale and retail.
Everybody in the community, not just a few.
And industries that pop up because of it. The security aspect of things.
It's almost like you need to go.
Right. I kind of do. I kind of need to get some information. But it's all happening tomorrow evening, 5:30 to 7:30, at the Historical Society's archive building at 200 North Lee Avenue. If you want more information, you can find the Chaves County Federated Republican Women on Facebook, and they'll give you all the need-to-know info. But it's definitely an important thing moving forward, and to know what it is that we're up against as a community as recreational cannabis makes its way to Roswell and beyond. So lots of stuff happening tomorrow evening. You got business after hours at Pasta Cafe. You got the county commission meeting. You got this roundtable. So if you're feeling froggy, you can make it to all of them. I mean, Business After Hours is a come and go event, so you could maybe make your way to all of them. Keep yourself busy. You'll be exhausted by the end of it, but might be a fun evening. Yeah, probably do a little of that beforehand. For those who didn't see, he gave us the universal. I mean, cough. He gave us the universal. It's a little deeper than that, though, bro.
Don't worry, I've never partaken.
No,
at all.
No. Well, the legalization is coming, homie. Recreational. I'm telling you, once the stigma is off, I think that
maybe someday.
All right. We'll dance that dance when we come to it. I want to say a big old thank you to, of course, to Tanner, to all of our guests this morning, and to each and every one of you out there for making us a part of your morning routine. We appreciate having you here. And as I've been mentioning all throughout the morning, you can see our show in its entirety at ksvptv.com. And of course, once Tanner gets all the interviews pieced up, he'll have those 2 interviews up on the Facebook page for you to partake. We'll get back at it again tomorrow morning, same time, same place. You're getting into the busy season because you're the big event starts tomorrow evening, correct? For your church?
Yeah.
So you're
tomorrow evening, but I mean technically I'm starting tonight to get ready for it.
Well, you started like last week essentially, but so busy times. Tanner's going to be kind of come and go. Next couple of days of shows going to be real loose format, but we'll make it work. So stay tuned for whatever's going to happen tomorrow.
It's all up to Roy now.
The Rush Tribute on the way up next. You are listening to KEND 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM. KEND Roswell.